For the last time, I'm pretty sure what's killing the crops is this Brondo stuff.
The Brondo's got what plants crave. It's got electrolytes.
So wait a minute. What you're saying is that you want us to put water on the crops?
Yes.
Water? Like out the toilet?
Well, I mean, it doesn't have to be out of the toilet, but yeah, that's the idea.
But Brondo's got what plants crave.
It's got electrolytes.
Okay, look, the plants aren't growing, so I'm pretty sure that the Brondo's not working. Now, I'm no botanist, but I do know that if you put water on plants, they grow.
Oh, well, I've never seen no plants grow out of no toilet.
Hey, that's good. You sure you ain't the smartest guy in the world?
Yeah.
Okay, look, you want to solve this problem, I want to get my pardon, so why don't we just try it, okay? And not worry about what plants crave.
Brondo's got what plants crave.
Yeah, it's got electrolytes.
What are electrolytes? Do you even know?
It's what they use to make Brondo.
Yeah, but why do they use them to make Brondo?
Because Brondo's got electrolytes.
Hold on to your butts. Have you tried this before? No. Do you think it'll work? I don't know. Why don't we just try it, okay? Not worry about what engineers crave. Hey, it is All Hallowed's Eve. You know it is Halloween. You should call it All Hallowed's Eve. Mike Church Show here. Yes, we are live and alive, asking the question of the day.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
Well, I'll tell you.
Oh, and remember, Friday is Hawaiian Shirt Day. So, you know, if you want to, go ahead and wear a Hawaiian shirt and jeans.
It's Repo. It's Repo.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Free phone Friday. I want to know how that camera just got moved. I think the tripod got. I think Buckshot did it. Buckshot did it in the studio. There you go. You almost got it straight. Closer. Look at Maggie moving that thing in real time. Oh yeah, it's moved at least a half a foot. Well, that's okay. Nobody watches for the picture anyway. I say people lacking pictures, but nobody watches for the pictures. You got it good enough for government work. Call-in line telephone number on All Hallowed Eve, 844-527-8723-8445 Email address, same as it ever hath been. I am KingDude at protonmail.com. And Crusader Stadium. Chat room open at crusadechannel.com/chat. Stop right there. I think you got it. I think you got it. And we're back in the studio chair again. We did not have Thursday Night Throwdown yesterday because I was engaged in a world-class heavyweight boxing championship with a 3.5-foot long, 46-pound gorilla of a mixing console, which is now, after 8 solid hours of literal electronic and digital Mortal Kombat, the thing finally succumbed to our will at about 9 o'clock last night. And you're listening through it right now. So if it was wired and configured correctly, and then you are getting the benefit of it now. Now, I tell you, the capability of that thing, we have like tapped one-tenth of 1%. There'll be a lot of stuff that we'll do with it this weekend. There's many, many things that we can do. So sorry about songs you know by heart. We'll do it next Thursday. So we won't mix another Thursday Night Throwdown. So we'll do it next Thursday, and it's a great topic, and it's not going anywhere. So, consequently, as a result of the wrestling match, I missed most of the news yesterday. So we're just going to talk about All Hallows Eve and stuff like that today. I got no response, by the by. No one responded to the exhortation that there should be a meeting of the Fuentes and Dude clans. So even though there were those who were telling me, Mike, I don't think that Nick blocked you guys intentionally. I'm pretty sure now that he did, and I still don't know why, and I don't care. But I just thought I would update you. So if you were following the story yesterday, that is what's happening. You know, there's a interesting thing that is happening out there. While the U.S. is being realigned, sort of, I think broadcast media is being realigned. And it's being realigned by people that don't work in it. Now, you may think that that's a good thing. I don't think grocery stores should be reformed by people who shop there. Does everyone understand that? I go into a grocery store and I'm looking for whatever, and I finally find it. And it is there. And then I go to the manager and I demand that, or I start agitating for, you need to change the way you order this product here. I was expecting it to be here, or the way you place it. I was expecting it to be here, and you placed it here, and that's just not going to work for me, so you need to stop doing it. It would be like if the fans ran sporting teams. What if the New Orleans football Aints fans ran the Saints? Well, actually, we might be better. But you don't work in the sporting and professional sports or athletics or whatever you want to call them. And I think that what is happening is that because there are so many interlopers that are just, they're not broadcasters. I mean, there is some talent out there. Maggie and I were laughing today at Charlemagne the God. Did a very funny routine. But now, I watched it and it went, okay, somebody wrote that. Those are scripted jokes. You know, those are scripted jokes. That's not a ad-lib radio program. But in any event, it was a very funny bit. So I don't mean to single Charlemagne out, but there is some talent out there. The problem is it's not being organized by people who are professional broadcasters. Note I draw the distinction between media types and broadcasters because it's kind of like, you know how they say in football, he's a player's coach. What does that mean? Well, he played. And he understands what it's like to sit in, to be quarterback, a wide receiver, or defensive lineman, or whatever the case may be. We don't have quarterbacks. We don't have players' coaches. Me. And I keep running into people that keep rejecting me. So reputations precede. And it's not that I don't offer.
It's the bow tie.
It's the bow tie. So you think if I did the gamer's chair, put a wool ski cap on, didn't shower or shave for a couple of days, and showed up with not a beard, shaved it all off, and just showed up with 3 days stubble. Roll out of bed, and I would show everyone that I still have my mypillow.com/KingDude slippers on, like Tim Pool, then people would love me. Maybe. But I think, remember, we had the online poll at one time, should I get a gamer's chair? Maggie said, no, you're not getting a gamer's chair.
You're not getting it. You're too young.
Too young or too old?
You're too old.
Oh, I'm too old. Oh, the old man needs a wheelchair to get in the studio now. There's a piece today at Crisis Magazine, The Forgotten Feast of All Hallows Eve. I've heard it said All Hallowed, as in, okay, he is or she is hallowed, as in revered. Either way. Written by Anthony DeStefano. You know, today is supposed to be a vigil. You notice how the bad guys come in and they invert everything. They take what it is that you have that's Catholic or Christian, and they take it and they say, no, you can keep it, but we're going to turn it upside down and we're going to make it evil. And so now you've taken the vigil where you prepare for one of my favorite feast days of the whole year, All Saints' Day. For so many reasons. One of them is the Feast of All Saints. So, I always have my blessed St. Augustine, my confirmation and our patron, my patron saint right here. Always have St. Augustine close to my heart. Very close to, and I'm sure a lot of you are close to your saint, to your guardian angels and your saints as well. But today is the day that you get ready for. Like any good vigil, you prepare. Like the Easter vigil, you prepare for the feast. So today is actually a day that you're supposed to fast. So you fast and abstain. Well, you're abstained. Abstaining is good. You fast and you abstain and you pray a little harder or a little bit more. And then you anticipate the great feast that is tomorrow, that is All Saints' Day. There's something that, and I wish I knew more about it. I think I saw an article about it today. Man, I'm sure Maggie we can find something. Beginning tomorrow, All Saints' Day, which then goes through the octave, or there'll be 8 days. If you go to a cemetery and you pray for the repose of the souls of the dead, you get a magnificent, it's called a plenary indulgence, which means all the sins that you currently owe penance for are basically the penance is kind of wiped out. Now, we don't get those kind of penances anymore. It used to be somebody might be sentenced to a year of ashes and sackcloth because they confessed to a priest a mortal sin crime, and then which is why you see indulgent. You get indulgence of 1 year or whatever for singing or chanting the Te Deum on the Feast of Corpus Christi, for example. And I'm just throwing this out there, but it's a very good thing to do. Maggie, maybe we could go to the cemetery at Rosaryville because there will be nobody there to bother us.
We could go to that one in Madisonville.
We could go to the one in Madisonville. You're going to pray for the repose of the holy souls. And the church tells us that many souls will be released from purgatory as a result of the devotion. That's why the demons had to turn All Hallows Eve and then the octave of All Saints into a macabre celebration of ghouls and of them, basically. They basically turned it into a day where you so anticipate, you so look forward to the feast of your patron saint and your confirmation saint, but instead now you just cower in fear of Michael Myers showing up and murdering you. You see how they inverted it? And it's not, though, Charles Cologne wrote a piece about this. I bet you can find Charles's piece about how All Hallows Eve or All Hallows Eve used to be in the old country back in the day. And there were expectations that there were some wayward souls that were still here. So there were some traditions that kind of it contributed to, not in the manner that you're thinking, but contributed to the feast of the demons and the ghouls and the monsters and being turned into what it is. But it really is, it's an important day on the calendar. And then this also obfuscates and completely eliminates from most people's minds and consciences Sunday, then, the day after All Saints' Day, if you don't know, is what, Maggie? All Souls' Day. So the Feast of All Souls. And again, it is a wonderful, charitable thing to go to a cemetery and pray for the repose of the holy souls. Speaking of macabre and dead things, I just popped into the Crusader Stadium chat room and to quote a line from Rodney Dangerfield, I tell you, I've never seen dead people chat. But it is a Friday. It is a Friday. Today is also the day. Oh, folks, is there going to be a vote today? Is Thune scheduling a vote? By the way, you were looking for sound bites. I saw one yesterday when I was in here arm wrestling. I'm calling the new consoles. It's just so big and beautiful. And we're going to be able to do so many amazing podcasts and video casts, recordings and things with it. So I'm going to give it a name. So it's made by the Behringer Corporation. They call it a wing. I'm just going to point to it and call it, okay, Maggie, on Wing and a Prayer, it's channel 10. In any event, I saw John Thune losing it. Was that from Wednesday or yesterday on the floor of the Senate?
I had that on yesterday's cut.
Could we add that back, because I didn't realize it. Who was he yelling at? He was pointing and yelling, and he kind of looked Cory Booker like. And he was screaming and hollering at someone, and this wasn't like, our friends on the other side of the aisle say this and they're wrong. This was, his hair got all unkempt. And I'm just wondering, so today is the last day to have a vote on the government shutdown and for it to come to an end. And tomorrow, then, if you're going to go to Walmart tomorrow, be warned.
It was on the 29th that it actually happened.
It was on the 29th, okay. So that was 2 days ago.
But I had the audio yesterday.
Okay, you had the audio yesterday. We'll put it back on the cut sheet. An interesting thing, though, or a momentous thing. I shouldn't say interesting. It's a momentous thing. Today is the last ditch effort. Now, if they cross this,
They're not coming back till Monday.
okay, so they're not voting today.
Nope.
Okay, so they're going to cross the Rubicon today, and they're going to go into uncharted territory. And that uncharted
Whatever you pushed.
the Comrex is up somewhere.
It's on me.
Turn it backhaul is something terrible. And we tested that thing yesterday, and it worked like a charm. We'll deal with it during the time.
Giving me on the fly stuff, dude.
I'll address it. It's not it's the greatest of our concerns right now. In any event, so they're not going to vote they're not coming back until Monday. No, wait, so the Democrats volunteered to take Halloween off? You know, I just saw 2 days ago Klobuchar and Schumer actually literally throwing hissy fits, tantrums, because Mike Johnson wasn't in the Capitol building, and you can't get anything done if you're not here. They already did what they had to do. The House of Representatives, they could get back in there, Mortimer, and sell. You can't get back in there and sell. It's so there's going to be no SNAP benefits tomorrow was the point I was going to make. How is that going to work? So depending on where you shop for your groceries, if you're a Walmart or Aldi or I'm trying to think of the big discount chains, BJ's or Costco or Sam's or whatever. Of course, most of those people don't take EBT at Sam's, do they? Oh, they do. Okay. There's going to be tomorrow. What are the poor people going to do? Well, maybe tonight they're going to go out and trick or treat, and instead of asking for candy, they'll be asking for cans of soup. Instead of trick or treat, it'll be fill my trick or meat. But I'm sorry. Yeah, I brought the kids, but I didn't spare. You got a pack of hot dogs or something? You know, kind of struggling here. You know, the SNAP's not going to work tomorrow, so I don't know. You know, you got a box of mac and cheese. Maybe that's what we ought to be giving out tonight instead of candy. Or here's what you do. You go buy a bunch out of your charity. You go buy a bunch of cans of Armored Deviled Ham and the little potted meat products and a bunch of cans of soup and boxes of mac and cheese with the fake, grated cheese that's in there. And you sit one bucket or one box on your front porch, and you fill with all the food and stuff. And then the other one is with the candy. So the kids want the candy, the kids will take the candy, right? But if they're with adults who are not going to get their SNAP benefits tomorrow, then the adults can take the food. Hey, Junior wants a Milky Way. What if I, take a box of mac and cheese? Can you imagine the Democrat media headlines Sunday? Day one of Trump starving the middle class. There will already be children who will be shirtless and who will have distended bellies in Detroit. And it'll be, you see, this is what the Trump administration has done to America's children.
One, call to schedule your free, no obligation consultation. 2, our design experts come to you with real samples to customize your dream bath. 3, our certified installers complete the transformation in as little as 1 day. And right now, for a limited time, you can upgrade your bathroom for 50% off installation or choose 18 months.
speakers. Speakers are on. The feed.
Don't hear me.
Well, the song is called Hillbillies from Outer Space. Speaking of outer space, what happened to what was it called? You know, the giant asteroid / comet rock that went behind the sun was supposed to come out on October the 29th. See, we should know these things, and we should know because they said, or some people were saying it's a giant alien spacecraft. Well, if it's a giant alien spacecraft, that we ought to be able to see it now, even though it's not going to intersect with Earth's orbit. A blessed and pious All Hallows Eve or All Hallows Eve to you, also known as Halloween. I will be taking your Halloween bumper music request here today. I already have the RST out in the knee. I played Hillbillies from Outer Space. We got Ghostbusters. We got Michael Jackson's Thriller, Thriller Night. So we would take those pieces off the board. I'll play my John Rambo Carey 2004 Scary Carey mash, our version of Bobby Pickett's. He did the mash, the monster mash. So anything else that we may have forgotten or that we did not include and the All Hallows Eve bumper music, we will get to it today. Speaking of, there's a great little video. President Trump. This is funny. So apparently, now I wonder how they screened these kids to do the trick-or-treating with Trump and Melania. Or were they just the children, people that work in the executive branch building right across the way there? It's probably what it was. But they had and this was, I'm cute. This was a brother, a sister, and a brother team. And the brother was dressed as Trump. The sister was dressed as Melania. And the younger brother was a Secret Service agent who was in all black and even had a little like white iPhone, like a white earbud stuck in his ear. And they went to go to the I guess that's the front door. What is the front door of the White House? Is there one? I guess it's the one where you drive under the carport and you pull up, where we see like where the dignitaries get out of the limos and go into that door there. Melania and President Trump are standing there. And of course, who else dresses up as himself for Halloween other than Trump? He's in the blue blazer. No, he's in black. He's in black with the white shirt and the red tie. You have the video, I assume. He's in black with the white Oxford and the red tie. He's got his USA hat on, and the kids come up. And in one of the videos, the little boy comes up who's dressed as Trump, and he slaps Trump a high five. Was that the dog?
No, that's this computer.
Oh. He slaps Trump a high five, and then Trump takes his hand and goes, dude, like he hit him so hard he hurt him. This is why the leftards hate Trump. Because he does things like that. He can be an actual person. And because he's had a life outside of all of what it is that they do. Now the A-Tim is fried? Okay, all right.
Producer fixed it on the fly.
Maggie fixed it. We were going to do, I guess the idea got put on the shelf, but we were going to, I was going to be an ICE agent. What were you going to be? You're going to be Christy Nome, and we're going to dress Buckshot up as a guard dog.
He's gonna be an inmate.
She was going to make him an inmate.
He was gonna be an illegal.
So we would be chasing Buckshot around, trying to corral him in our ICE gear. And then you just saw the kids going to the White House, which was funny. I missed it yesterday. There was a hearing. I guess there was a hearing. There was a hearing yesterday, or the hearings began on the confirmation of Casey Means, Surgeon General of the United States. And again, I didn't catch this. So do we have any sound bites? I guess not. I'm sure that they would have yelled at her because, she is really not a vaxxer. Super not a vaxxer. But I didn't know this. Now, we used to carry this book, Good Energy, right? Isn't that what it was called? Good Energy. I only read the parts of the book that dealt with metabolism and metabolic health and what the carcinogen part of the American food supply was doing to us. I didn't read the chapters about how she got from point A to point B. Apparently, though, this is in the book. And I saw this posted yesterday, and it gave me pause. And I just thought to myself, now, wait a minute.
So her hearing is postponed.
Oh, they postponed her hearing. Okay. That's why we don't have any sound bites. Now, she would fit in perfectly with the Biden regime and the Democrats on everything other than vaccines. And pharma and big pharma being the cure for everything. This is from her book. This is an excerpt from her book. Now again, I don't know what chapter it's in. This is a to-do list of the things that she did to become the adult person that she currently is, I guess. Number 8, embrace the woo-woo. You can get this from Rod Dreher's blog. Embrace the woo-woo, also known as the mystery. Now, you're going to hear this, or Maggie's going to put it in the chat room, and you're going to go, that's like pagan worship. Yeah, and I did not know. She seemed kind of strange to me. And I talked about this one time that, when we carried her book after the Tucker Carlson interview, he interviewed her and her brother, Callie, right? And it was like, oh, Mike, you know what? Did you see that Tucker interview? We're saved. Yes, we were all saved from Big Pharma and from Big Ag and all the evil people that were trying to cram this stuff down our throats and into our bodies because the means had... And she gave all those amazing statistics, right, about how much more sicker Americans had become. It was a really good interview, and at the time, we played it, and we even got the book, Good Energy, and put it into the Founders Trading Post store. I did not know that this was in it. I mean... Books that come from secular people and publishers, maybe I should screen them a little bit better. Embrace the woo-woo. Talk about a Halloween surprise. Well, surprise, 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 Sergeant Carter. There were so many out there things I did to try and...
She sounds like your mother.
She sounds like one of these... goddess worshiping wackos is what she sounds like. And I have one in my family, so I'm very familiar with how they talk. And this is how they talk. And this is how they write. And this is what they write about. Which now gives me great pause. So wait a minute now. Maybe, not that I care who's the Surgeon General, because by and large, unless they're going to do bad, I really don't. There were so many out there things I did to try and tap into the mystical side of evolving my consciousness and ultimately being ready for partnership.
Oh, Lord.
I don't even want to know what partnership is. This, literally to me, sounds like Heaven's Gate comet riding people. Remember that?
Yep.
Marshall Applewhite was the dude's name. How do you get ready for partnership? Here are a few. These are not necessarily recommendations, but they were part of my journey. This is wacky stuff here,
When
folks.
people talk about their journey, it's usually wacky.
1, I set up a small meditation shrine in my house and prayed to photos of my ancestors asking for support on my personal journey and wrote mantras and manifestations on small pieces of paper and tucked them around the shrine. Okay. 2, I went to weekly group meditations and spiritual lectures at Self-Realization Fellowship. Actually, you may want to look that up. Self-Realization Fellowship, in order to tune in with spirit. I've heard all this before. I'm telling you. This is wacky. This is wackadoodle street here. This is pagan, goddess, so confused, and dangerous worship stuff that all I can say is, somebody that talks like this, stay away. They are literally a magnet for demons. Remember in the Annabelle episode, we talked about contact objects, the latest edition of Moms, Murders, and Mysteries, which is now available as a podcast for the world to listen to. It's a really good episode. You want to listen to something that's family-friendly tonight, tune in the Crusade channel. You can, or just download the podcast, Moms, Murders, and Mysteries, episode 13.
This is some hippy-dippy.
You found the Self-Realization Fellowship? And it's hippy-dippy? Oh, okay. Hang on, hold on. Let me finish. 3, I worked with a spiritual medium. Well, that's demon worshiper right there. Who helped me try to connect with my spirit guides for support and guidance.
Demons.
You're either asking for the intercession of your patron and confirmation saint, or just a saint that you have a devotion to. And, Protestants have this all confused. We don't worship the saint. We ask the saint, hey, will you go to God and borrow a little grace on my behalf and ask him if you can bestow it upon me? That's how you're praying through. Why can't you just go directly to the man? You can. You absolutely can. No one said that you couldn't. I find great solace in talking to my guardian angel, and I do it pretty much every day. You actually have a conversation with him, talk about wackadoodle. Mike, there's no such thing as guardian angels. Yeah, I know. It's actually, you know what? Guardian angels, that's in the Bible. It is. It's in the Bible. But in any event, or I would ask the Blessed Virgin Mary, or through the intercession of our Lord's Sacred Heart, for example, or many different ways. You don't talk to a spirit guide. If you're talking to a spirit guide, you're talking to a demon. You're talking to a demon who knows every person that has ever lived and everything about them and can lie to you and tell you what you want to hear. All to get you away from Christ. That's the goal. She's a wackadoodle, man. I did full moon ceremonies with grounded, powerful women. There you go. Where we called in abundance and let go of what wasn't serving us and amplified each other's dreams. I love the book Lunar Abundance. Okay, I wonder if President Trump knows that this is in case he means his book, and that she is really a piece of pagan work. You get around someone like this, you better have sacramentals on. There's a reason why wherever I go, when I go to an event, and it doesn't matter what it is, I'm not going to pick on the last couple of events I went to with Turning Point USA. It wouldn't matter. If I go to an event and it's not being hosted on hallowed ground or wherever, like at a church or whatever, I bring my kit with me. I handed it to Bug Hall at the People's Convention in June of last year in Detroit at the COVID Center. He asked BK from Michigan. I gave it to Bug, and he says, "What's this?" I said, "That's sacred blessed chrism oil and epiphany water." He goes, "I know exactly what to do, Mike." And I said, "There's some epiphany salt in there too." And I didn't have to tell Bug what to do because he knew what to do, and he went basically blessed the perimeter where we were. So when we were in our little space there, we were kind of standing. And please don't take this the wrong way. Kind of standing on hallowed ground. It was blessed at least. What is this lunar abundance? 5, I hiked alone and talked literally out loud to the trees. Letting them know I was ready for partnership and asking them if they could help.
You're partnering with a tree?
You're partnering with a tree? How's that going to work? What are the kids going to look like? Are you going to raise them as pagans or as oaks? Asking for a friend. This is wacky. Just out, I would say out of left field, but it's not even out of left field, dude. This is like out of the left of center of the 7th layer of hell. 6, I made wishes on heads up pennies. You made a wish on Lincoln? I made wishes when the clock struck 11:11, and I made wishes on the first stars I saw in the night sky. What the? This almost reads like comedy. I keep thinking, like, okay, Roger, this is you got the screenshot from the book. This is a gag. Do we have one out there? I think we sold them all. Now I apologize. I had no idea. Number 7. I pursued visualization techniques like the Silva method. Do I even want to know what that is? That helped me see my visions for the future. Again, if you have visions of the future, consider yourself either A soon-to-be canonized Catholic saint, because our Lord or Our Lady herself has visited you and told you this is what's going to happen, which has happened from time to time. Or 2, you are conversing with a demon who is telling you what it wants you to think your future is. So, in the present, you will do what the demon asks of you. Does everyone understand why this stuff is so dangerous and how it works? Maggie, this is why when we recorded the Annabelle episode of Mom's Murders and Mysteries, number 13, which you should all download and listen to at crusadechannel.com. Do us a favor. Don't listen to it at Crusade Channel. Open your Apple Podcast app up and find it on Apple Podcast and tap that 5-star button and write a 1-sentence review. Love the Mom's Murders and Mysteries. A wonderful, I'll give you the line, a wonderful fresh take on true crime podcasts. Mama High Hurdle has rescued true crime podcasting. And then finally, number 8, I did plant medicine experiences with trusted guides and wrote extensively about my experience and insights. And then at the end of that sentence is a cute little button mushroom. It's a Mario Brothers mushroom from Donkey Kong. All right, wait a minute, Maggie. Hold on. Drum roll, please. She's going to crack the mic on the new board for the first time and see if it works.
All I was going to say is, that tells me she was doing mushrooms. She didn't want to come out and say, I was tripping, off on mushrooms. But she was doing mushrooms.
She was doing mushrooms. That's why there's a mushroom at the end. Well, at the top of that chapter, what is that? That's a crystal ball.
It is.
At the top left, that's a crystal ball. Oh, folks. And thus is the woman who now wishes to become the Surgeon General of the United States and has been nominated by President Trump. I cannot imagine that when Trump finds is someone to go, Mr. President, we might have a problem. We might just have a small problem with your nominee to be Surgeon General of the United States. She's kind of cuckoo. But you know what? In the modern world, there are people running around. This is a multi-billion-dollar industry. There are con artists. Oh my Lord! And let me tell you, that's the mild stuff. That's the mild stuff. If they're doing that kind of stuff, let me assure you that if you're doing that kind of stuff, you're amenable to whatever kind of a sacrifice that the demon tells you you need to make. And I don't know what a partnership is, but this sounds completely and totally homo to me. Gay. She grew up in Oregon. She's living in L.A. Draw your own conclusions. This is the Surgeon General. You know, I'm almost getting misty-eyed for the days of Jocelyn Elders, for heaven's sake. You know, at least Biden's attempted Surgeon General, at least that dude showed up in a uniform of sorts. What's she going to show up in? You know, she's going to show up dressed like one Bette Midler, Cher, or who was the other one from the movie Witches? Wasn't it the movie Witches? It was Bette Midler, Cher, and who was the third? Was it Lily Tomlin? She's going to show up dressed like one of those. That is just some whacked out, weird crap there. And I thought that Dr. Das Kakalakis, remember the dude that Biden nominated for something? And there was a picture, and on his social media, he had all the pentagrams. And then there's a picture, it's in Dreyer's piece there, him with, I don't know whether that leather contraption that he's wearing around his neck and is on his chest with the
It's a satanic pentagon.
It's a satanic pentagon thing, but it looks like it's made out of leather and
He was in BDSM.
Well, of course he was in BDSM. In any event, you talk about some scary stuff for Halloween. Now, I'm almost hoping now, but, you know, see, this is the Democrat. She's a Democrat. I would think that Mazie Hirohito and the other women that are on the committee that is going to interrogate her, you know, they're going to focus on all of the anti-vax stuff that's in her book, Good Energy. And they probably won't even hit on this. But could you imagine, because John Kennedy is on that. Could you imagine our senator from Louisiana, John Kennedy, going, oh, wait a minute now, Miss Means, am I to understand that you dress up and play tree? Now, not that I find that there's anything wrong with, you know, hanging out with and hugging trees. But it sounds to me like, I just got this from your book, that, can you explain to us what the strange relationship you have with talking to a tree? And the following way, Senator, and I really, there's no danger of me talking to trees in the Surgeon General's office because there's no trees there.
So for those asking, what the heck is wrong with Donald Trump? Apparently, if you do a little bit more research, RFK Jr. specifically asked for Casey Means. It wasn't a Donald Trump himself pick.
Okay, so then, what in the hell is wrong with RFK Jr.? Well, I know he's a Democrat, but he's also a Catholic. He claims that he still practices the faith. Dude, you got to know. You have to know what this is. And by the way, RFK Jr., she's the kind of a wacko that would put a hex on Charlie Kirk on Etsy. What was the name of that magazine? That Lilith, right? Isn't that the name of the magazine? Where the lesbian witches, I think it's called Lilith. No, it's called, it starts with an S. Jezebel. Jezebel, that's it, it's Jezebel. She sounds like something straight out of Jezebel. So I got to ask the question, what the hell is wrong with RFK Jr.? Our Hallowed Eve extravaganza rolls on next.
The Mike Church Show, serving the hard liquor of truth to men who want to get drunk fast. Since 1992.
Hey guys, you got a minute?
Hey, what's up, buddy?
It's about my dad. He wants to have a sex change operation.
Whoa, I knew he was gay. I didn't think he was that gay.
No, Peter, he's not gay. He's a woman stuck in a man's body.
Yeah, gay.
It's totally different.
Sounds the same.
Well, it's not.
Okay, so he wants to be a woman so he can be a lesbian?
No, he'd date men.
Gay.
Yeah, gay.
Okay, this is not the help I came over here for.
Well, look, let's just all agree that he's odd, huh?
He has an appointment Friday with Dr. Hartman to have the procedure, and he wants me to go with him. I don't know if I can handle that.
Well, I'm sure your friend Peter would be happy to come along for moral support.
All right, but look, here's the deal. Anything he lops off, we get to bring home for Brian.
That's very green of you, Peter.
Strange in your neighborhood, who you gonna call? Ghostbusters! If there's something weird and it don't look good, who you gonna call? Ghostbusters!
I ain't afraid of no ghosts.
I ain't afraid of no ghosts.
A blessed All Hallows Eve here on the Mike Church Show on the Crusade Channel. Live talk and podcast, radio the way it should be. Big Halloween weekend. Tomorrow's All Saints Day. Sunday's All Souls Day. Spinning all the Halloween music that is worthy of spinning. You know, they played this at the White House yesterday. Do you have that clip? Because it's hysterical. So the kids are going up and they're trick-or-treating, and they're going to the door where President Trump and Melania are standing. And you can hear the White House kind of marching band in the background playing Ghostbusters. I think it's the one that I have on my twata. Because you can hear Ghostbusters being played in the background. But there was one that where they were playing Ghostbusters, and I don't know who was doing it, but somebody near the band was shouting out when they went Ghostbusters. They were shouting Ghostbusters. I think here is the clip of the kids going up to the door. Let's see. Where Melania, there it is. You can hear it in the background. Now, they're playing that at the White House. That is not, the guy didn't dub that onto the track. And so you see the kid, the boy dressed as him, the girl dressed as Melania, and the little brother dressed as the Secret Service agent. Just to update you, the government shutdown is it's a fait accompli, as they say in Latin. It is a feat that has been accomplished. There will be no SNAP benefits on Sunday. Nope. No, I'm sorry, tomorrow. Yeah, it goes into effect tonight at midnight. The SNAP fund dries out, and no one thought that the Zion King and the Republicans would actually hold the line over New Deal era Franklin Delano Obama Roosevelt. That's how long the SNAP program has been around. These are ancient welfare programs that have addicted and conscripted so many people into abject, just slavish behavior to the federal government of the United States. And they're not getting it tomorrow. They're not getting it tomorrow. Now, there is a case to be made for this kind of supplemental food for people that actually can't provide for themselves. Like, for example, my sister, my brother-in-law, currently is incapacitated. And he was working the day he became incapacitated. And he's not going to be returning to work anytime soon or ever. And hold on. I should just have on my hotkeys here. Steve Miller Band with Big Old Jet Airliner. When the 747 in-room AC unit fires up. So she was on. They were on the SNAP program, and he's in his 60s and he paid all those years, his entire life. He started working when he was 15, his entire life into Social Security, and it took them. So this is October, so it took them 10 months. His stroke was last December. 10 months they applied for his SSI. And at first they said, well, no, he's not old enough. And then she got a lawyer and goes like, he's old enough. And then it was like, well, we have to process it. 10 months. But it finally came through. But they were on, my point is that they were on the SNAP program. So it did have a use for some people. But again, Christian charities could fill this void. I was speaking with a friend of mine who told me just the other day that at his church, at his Catholic parish, not only do they have like a food bank, but they actually have like a building where they can distribute it, and they can actually hold events for people to do drive-throughs, for example, which they did at Our Lady of Mount Carmel. Father Damien did that. And Alvaro would have the reefer out there, and people would donate all those turkeys. My point in bringing that up, and I'm going to bring it up again, is good riddance. Get rid of it. And if if the poor people survive the next however many days without their precious SNAP program, SNAP benefits, and people pick up the slack, then it ought to stay like that. That should be an abject lesson. That do we really need that program? Was it harming, because there are so many able-bodied people that are on it, was it harming more than it was helping? Let's do some digital media files. So there is going to be no end to the... Now, Maggie, you were saying, you were looking at me with consternation. Well, why didn't you think that the Zion King was going to hold the line? You thought that he was?
Oh, no. I was, some of our people in the chat room were like, I can't believe they've gone this long. Well, you don't understand a woman, number one. We're pretty hard-headed. And a liberal woman, those women are very hard-headed. They have put themselves into a hole. They cannot cave, because that's caving to King Trump.
Right.
They cannot cave.
So Jeff Johnson says, Maggie, the Democrats pushed Trump into his ego corner, saying he could fund SNAP for 3 weeks. What is it? Whether he could personally do it? Oh, that he has. He gonna get it from his stash. You have to have. It's in the law. If you read the law, the reason they have to have the continuing resolutions. Article 1, Section 8, Congress does all the appropriations. The Senate can concur, but all bills for raising revenue originate in the House of Representatives, and the Senate can concur. You can't withdraw money from the Treasury unless it has been appropriated. Does everyone understand it? So they're lying. When the Democrats go, here's a liar, he's got money, he can throw this money around, he can throw that money around. No. The only way you could spend money under the U.S. Constitution is it has to be appropriated by Congress. The appropriation for SNAP has expired. Apparently, they built a 30-day grace period into it, if you will, thinking that there could be a delay in getting a CR. She said, well, we don't want the programs to shut down. If we can't come to an agreement, it takes a week or so. Because usually, just the threat of a shut, you can't shut our government. We demand our government. So apparently, they built the 30-day grace period into it. It's over. The program can't be funded unless there's an appropriation for it. Now, the air traffic controllers, I don't know what they're going to do about that. They say that they're going to be able to pay the military. The military people's checks are going to be good. Don't know. And I'm sure that somewhere that there is an accounting trick, because there has to be money to run the executive branch. Now, we all know that we're talking about trillions of dollars here. The SNAP program is what? I think it's like $8 billion a month. I mean, that's a lot of it's a lot of money, relatively speaking. It's not. Digital media found number one. J.D. Vance talking about the meeting that they had with the aviation peeps and what came out of that while we're talking about government shutdowns and air traffic controllers. And again, imagine the United States Airlines, U.S.-based air carriers, having to pay their own way like the Crusade Channel and the Mike Church Show does. Here you go.
How we doing? Good. Well, let's let these guys file out here. But, what we just did was a little roundtable with leaders in the aviation industry. We've got leaders of labor represented. We've got leaders of the businesses that are, of course, making the airline industry run. And I just wanted to hear from people about the stresses of the aviation industry in light of the fact of the shutdown. And here's what I found out. It actually worries me a great deal because I think that as much as delays have gotten worse over the last couple of weeks, everybody here is very worried that we're going to see more delays, more stresses on the people who are actually making the aviation system run, and more problems for both the consumers but also the great workers who actually make this incredible shining jewel of the American economy actually work and work on time and work safely. Here are the things that I worry about. I worry about the people who are scanning our bags and making us get through the security line. I worry they're not getting paychecks. They're starting to get worried about how to feed their families and how to pay school tuition and everything else. I worry about the pilots who haven't gotten paid in a long time. I worry about the air traffic controllers who, of course, make this entire system extra safe. I worry about them, more worried about their credit card bill than they should be because they're not getting a paycheck because Democrats refuse to open the government. Now, I understand that a lot of Americans are sick of partisanship in Washington, D.C. Trust me, I've been here for 9 months in this job. I am sick of partisanship in Washington, D.C. But this is very, very simple. Every partisan dispute, every policy disagreement, all of these things we can talk about, we can reason through, we can disagree, we can shake hands and compromise on some of those issues, hopefully. But this is something that every single American, Democrat or Republican or independent, should be able to agree on. Open the government. Stop this craziness and open the government. It's causing way too many problems, and some of the folks behind me are the people who are dealing with the problems. Now, let's just recap exactly what's happened politically in this town related to the government shutdown. We have had now multiple votes to reopen the United States government. The House of Representatives has voted affirmatively to reopen the United States government. 52 Republicans and 3 Democrats consistently vote to reopen the United States government, but we need 60 votes. So all we need to end the craziness, to pay the air traffic controllers, to pay the TSA agents, to pay the pilots, to make sure that food stamp benefits continue to go out to the American people who need them, all we need is 5 reasonable Democrats to join 3 moderate Democrats and 52 Republicans to reopen the government. I want to let Sean Duffy say something, but before I do, I just want to say to any Democrat in the United States Senate, we are happy to talk about any policy issue. We're happy to talk about health care policy. We're happy to talk about tax policy. We're happy to talk about regulatory policy, but not at the point of a gun. You do not get to take the American people's government hostage and then demand that we give you everything you want in order to pay our air traffic controllers. It's a ridiculous set of demands. Let's reopen the government, and then let's sit down and talk about how to compromise on policy for the American people. Sean?
All right. informal chat room poll. Actually, you can do a poll in the chat room. That's a really good game. That's a really good talk. Great talk, Dad. Does he really want to reopen the government? Notice who's not there. Trump. Of course, he's been kind of out of town for a couple of days, probably taking a nap. Does he really want to reopen the government, or is this an Academy Award-winning performance from Trump and from JD and from the others are going like, man, we got people really think we want to reopen this thing, and that they are cynically playing the Democrats for all they're worth, and they're not worth much, but are just systematically going like, check, shutting things down. And going like, you know what, once we sunset this joker, we're going to close the doors. We're going to close the doors on this little slush fund agency of yours, fire everyone that's there. We're still going to pay them, and they'll go do something else, and they're not coming back. What?
I think this is a really good move on behalf of Trump and J.D. Vance, too. So they've got all these aviation people at the White House, right? Because what's coming up? Travel. Thanksgiving travel. Christmas
Thanksgiving's
travel.
coming
So
up.
they're getting out ahead of it and telling the American people, this is going to happen. It's inevitable. The Democrats are going to be the ones that makes you late to see Grandma on Thanksgiving.
You know, the most fascinating, I think, amazing part about this, and the usual suspects, cynics, can cry into their bowl of ramen noodles out there. Who would have thunk that it could actually get to this? By the by, I saw a report today. Who sent it to me? Hold on. I got to find it now. And of course, because I'm looking for it, I'll never be able to find it. Hang on. This is a story from ZeroHedge.com, just to kind of add to this. Doge team at Pentagon is urgently trying to overhaul America's lagging drone program. This is a story, this little Tyler Durden blurb or report here. Apparently, the Pentagon has its very own Doge unit, and it is overseeing a major U.S. effort to greatly and rapidly bolster the U.S. military's drone program, which by many accounts has been lagging. Pentagon's Department of Government Efficiency, which has only been disclosed in a fresh Reuters report Thursday, will aim to acquire at least 30,000 drones in the coming month. The urgency of more cost-cutting, edge, and nimble drone program, perhaps more in line with the vision of defense tech innovationists like Palmer Luckey and blah, 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 blah. According to him or Reuters, Doge officials have requested information on drones from across the Pentagon, including Army, Marines, Navy, and Air Force, and Air Defense. Okay. What does all this mean? What is happening here? I know someone that's in the Pentagon. So they're the one that sent me this, and they told me this. Mike, what's happening here, what they're doing, is that the inner workings of the Department of War are broken. They are just destroyed. There's simply no recovering from the $500 toilet seat fiasco, which was just, remember back 20 years ago or so, whatever, when the report came out. What was that? You know, as Junk Bond Garpiner would tell you, if he were listening right now, he'd call in and he'd say, Mr. Church, I can tell you stories about what I've seen here. There's a motto at the Pentagon that if the money was appropriated, you better find a way to spend it. This became an ethos. So if you got a gig spending money at the Pentagon, your job was literally to make sure all of it got spent. Even if you didn't need it, you had to spend it. Which explains $500 toilet seats and other extravagances. What happened is, if I'm understanding you correctly, J.O., so that's my source. So if I'm understanding you, J.O., is that this became an ethos. And now everything is based around, no, give us more. You got to give us an increase this year because we spent it all last year. Now we had to hire all these people. Now we have all these bootlicking lackeys walking the halls of the Pentagon. And they're all expecting this and that and the other. How would you fix that? How would you fix that? Well, just imagine you're Mitt Romney and you take over a big company. What did Romney do when all the companies that he took, the Bain Capital took over? They killed them. They went in and they destroyed from within. This is the same model that Clear Channel Broadcasting used when it was buying up 1,100, 1,200 radio stations in the 5 years between 10 years between 1996 and 2004, somewhere up in there. The Mays brothers would buy I can tell you because I worked at two of them. Here's a clue right here. Got fired from the first one to go get hired by the second one. I got fired from the second one. What did I do wrong? I drew a paycheck. So what the Mays brothers and what Cheap Channel did, and this is just mergers and acquisitions BS. This is so usurious and just it's evil. You go in and you buy a radio property and you tell, oh no, everything's going to be the same. Oh no, you're going to do it. Oh no, everyone's going to keep their job and this, et cetera. It's all a lie. They come in and they get settled in and they start doing an accounting, basically an inventory of executives and bosses and people that are good at mainly at firing people. And how they paid for all these acquisitions is they went in, they did their little evaluation, their inventory and what have you, and then first thing they did was they went to the sales department and they kept the sales manager and they usually took all the accounts away from the sales people. So that you can either quit and go work somewhere else or you can start over. So if you were, for example, calling on Maggie's old business, Rick and Jack's Brewery, and she was your client for years, he would have called you and go like, you have a new AR, account representative coming. They won't let me do it anymore. I thank you for the business, and it was great knowing you, et cetera, et cetera. They take all your accounts away. Now, why would they do that? Because the first thing they need to do is try to boost revenue. Salespeople are fat and lazy, most of them, especially those that work at that level. So they're only going to do what they have to do to get their draw. They're used to getting their $1,000 a week or whatever the draw against commission is what it's called. So they take all their accounts away from them, and about half of them quit, and then they hire new people for nothing. Straight commission. This is how sales works, but you get an increase in revenue. Then they go through and they start whacking people in executive departments, and they say, well, you're now going to program, Mr. Talk Radio program, dude, you're going to program all the music stations, too. All you four guys, get out of here. You're fired. And then they go to the talent. And, of course, they can replace us with voice tracking.
I do feel, Reg, that any anti-imperialist group like ours must reflect such a divergence of interest within its power base.
Agreed. Francis? Yeah, I think Judith's point of view is very valid, Reg, provided the movement never forgets that it is the unalienable right of every man or woman to rid himself or herself. Agreed. Thank you, brother. Or sister. Where was I? I think you finished. Oh, right. Furthermore, it is the birthright of every man or woman. Why don't you shut up about women, Stan? You're putting us off.
Women have a perfect right to play a part in our movement, Reg.
Why are you always on about women, Stan?
I want to be one.
What?
I want to be a woman. From now on, I want you all to call me Loretta.
What?
It's my right as a man.
Well, why do you want to be Loretta, Stan?
I want to have babies.
You want to have babies?
It's every man's right to have babies if he wants them.
But you can't have babies.
Don't you oppress me.
I'm not oppressing you, Stan. You haven't got a womb. Where's the fetus going to gestate? You're going to keep it in a box?
Here, I've got an idea. Suppose you agree that he can't actually have babies, not having a womb, which is nobody's fault, not even the Romans, but that he can have the right to have babies.
Good idea, Judith. We shall fight the oppressors for your right to have babies, brother. Sister, sorry. What's the point? What? What's the point of fighting for his right to have babies when he can't have babies? It is symbolic of our struggle against oppression.
Symbolic of his struggle against reality.
Johnny, where here you go, like, that's a classic.
It's close to midnight. Something evil's lurking in the dark. Under the moonlight, it feels like that almost stops your heart. You try to scream, but terror takes the sound before you make it.
Everybody remember when this song came out and the video came out?
And so it looks you right between the eyes. You're paralyzed. 'Cause this is daylight, and no one's gonna save you.
This is the biggest event on television. What year is this album? 1983? 83 or 84. It's the biggest event in television. Oh, 1982. It was the biggest event in television because Michael Jackson was coming off the heels of I Wanna Ride With You. What was that album? The one right before Thriller was... It'll come to me in a minute. In any event. And there was a lot of expectation. You know, he was working with other artists, kind of like the Bee Gees. He was writing songs with other people. And then the album came out. Thriller comes out. And, of course, they released the first song, and it's Billie Jean is the first song. And then we know that the Thriller track is on there. And so the deal is made with Michael. And they're going to take the song Thriller and they're going to turn it into like a mini movie. I want to say that they got like John Landis to direct, or no, it wasn't Ridley. But whoever, some famous director directed that the Thriller movie, and it was a huge event. I still remember it. I thought it was my memory's always good. It was John Landis. So John Landis of Animal House fame. John Landis, they got John Landis to direct it. They had a casting call. They had thousands of girls come in, and they picked that girl, Ola Ray. to play his little girlfriend. And then, Michael put together all of that choreography. That's all him. He did all that. The dude was stone cold flipping musical genius, man. And they put all of that together for that one little short film. You're still, you go on Halloween parties and people will still, if there's enough room, will do the Thriller line dance, right? Because, and you do it to the choreography, not knowing that you're like doing a dance that was written and created for and by Michael Jackson for that video. It was a huge event. I can remember watching a couple of guys from that my brother was friends with and I was friends with, and we were all waiting for that thing to come out. They made a big hoop-de-doo deal out of it. Of course, it released on MTV, and that's the only place that you could get it then. And it was a big it was a big deal. And that song has stood the test of time. That is, if you go to a Halloween party, they are going to play that song. There it is. That's all. So that's Michael as the Thriller vampire, I guess. Yep. And then they just showed a shot of Ola Ray screaming. A famous screaming scene that they had to cut. I can't remember how many times because she couldn't get it right. At any event, just a little piece of pop culture history. There's the dance. There's the Thriller dance. What are you? When I said that, you acting like you knew it.
Yeah, I know it.
How many of you people in the chat room can do the Thriller line dance? It is it's a Halloween tradition. I just don't think that you think of what these punks pass off for entertainment and music today. What kind of thought, what kind of planning and actual talent and creativity went into the Thriller video? That, to me, that's what you talk about. You talk about how there was some appreciation. Like Michael Jackson, they made that music. There's no AI doing that. There's no Pro Tools with auto-tune or any of that. Those musicians had to go in there and they had to play that, and then they had to, for the video, to figure all that out. Where are we today with that? Well, if it's longer than 30 seconds, I don't have time. And I don't care how much creativity you put into it. Really is a pathetic state of affairs, and it is. Now, are there people that are making good stuff? There are people that are making good stuff. It's hard to get an audience, though, and I will tell you. Same as it is hard to get an audience for radio, for radio shows, for talk radio shows. Let me finish up with the story I was telling about the Pentagon being like radio station takeovers with Clear Channel. So the Pentagon is now 30 years or 40 years into this program. You have generations of executives in there. They don't know how to do it any other way. These people are completely and totally useless. You know what? I know a guy. As a matter of fact, I know several guys who are purchasing people at the Pentagon. The three I know are all retired, like at 52. Sucking down 110 grand a year or whatever it is that they get. One of them was actual ex-military. One of them was a civvy and just got a Pentagon gig. And the other one, there was two civvies and one military guy. And they all tell you the same story, Mike. You wouldn't believe it. We squander so much money. We just spend it to say that we could spend it. How you get a $650, $700 billion Pentagon budget is you have decades of, number one, you got to make the boogeyman across the seas, and you got to fight. You have to have the war machine to fight it, and then of course you have to have the demonic themed five-sided pentagram star to oversee the whole thing. And then, you have to have the American sheeple out there who rah-rah and cheer on their military in all of these escapades where their legs get blown off. And then look at the end result. What did the American public get for all that Pentagon spending? The trillions upon trillions of dollars. The future generations' fortunes that have been squandered away. What did they get? They got tunnels to tower ads on Fox News with men who have no legs. Now, I have to be very careful. I'm not bashing tunnels to towers. Not. I'm just pointing out that, and there are firemen and others that tunnels to towers helps, but they do to the military, and there are other entities that do that as well. What did the American people get? They got killed sons. They got sons who came back home in caskets draped with flags. They got 6,500, 7,000 of them. They got how many hundreds of thousands of other sons and daughters who return home with no legs, no arms, faces that have no skin left, completely the skin completely burned off, no eyes. Some of them just mentally just destroyed from PTSD. The American people got hundreds of billions of dollars in broken young men and an entire generation disrupted. That's what we got in return. President Trump should put an end to this. Should tell Hegseth, you want to modernize the military and you want to do these drones. Okay, fine. You're going to have to do it with 51% of what you currently have there. As this shutdown goes on, I want you firing people, and I don't want them rehired. I want you firing people, and I don't want them rehired. I want you to eliminate these positions. This is what needs to and has to be done. Now, you can hope that it is going to be done, and I don't know that it is. All right, a blessed All Hallows Eve to all of you. Play digital media file number. Let's do some more digital media files. Number 3. There's another one with J.D. Vance. We're a little light and the low first today on audio. That's okay. We have lots of other stuff that we'll talk about during the course of the program. Anybody going out in costume tonight with the cheerins or grand cheerins or to costume parties? I'm going dressed tonight as a poor talk radio host. And as a matter of fact, if you're watching me right now, I'm wearing my costume.
On the issue of the shutdown, there is the concern about 42 million people losing their SNAP benefits. Of course. Over this weekend. The administration has moved a lot of money around to pay troops, to pay federal law enforcement, and is telling Congress you can't move money around to pay at least some of those benefits. Why not? And would there be some push perhaps in the next 48 hours to try to do that so Americans don't go hungry?
Well, here's the problem. If you go back to previous government shutdowns, what has happened is that sometimes the president has tried to make the shutdown as painful as possible on the American people. I give the president of the United States great credit and the entire team for trying to make this as painless as possible. The Democrats are acting irresponsibly. He doesn't want the American people to suffer because of it. But look, right now, this government, this administration, we're like guys running around, with a leak in a damn wall, trying to plug it with bubble gum. And we plug one spot with bubble gum, and we plug another spot with bubble gum, and we plug another spot with bubble gum. Why don't the Democrats just stop this entire charade and reopen the government so that we don't have to try to make this thing work on a shoestring budget, which is what we're trying to do. The unfortunate reality, and we're starting to see this with our aviation industry, we're going to find out the hard way with SNAP benefits. The American people are already suffering, and the suffering is going to get a lot worse. Not because the President of the United States has failed to make the shutdown painless. He's tried to do everything that he can to make it as unpainless as possible. The reason that pain is coming and the reason it's building is because we're not passing the clean bill to reopen the government. It's a very easy thing to do.
Think about this. Moron, the not magnificent Kami Mandami. He reached his peak.
I think so.
I told you people that he would reach a point and had reached a point. He never crossed into majority territory. Well, you can now see the writing on the wall. The moron, not a magnificent Kami Mandani, campaign is in a soft panic right now. They're in a soft panic right now because Andrew Cuomo is within 6 points in the latest polling of Mondani. You know, what a tragedy. Tragedy! What a tragedy that the people in New York have to choose between a Sharia law lying tequila liar masquerading as a socialist. Maybe he is. I think he's more a Sharia law because they don't have any experience doing anything against the crook and the COVID criminal that is Andrew Cuomo. Don't forget what Cuomo did during COVID. That was not pretty what was happening in New York. There were a lot of elderly people that died. Remember, Chris Farrar was dead. They had Mr. Farrar, 96 years old. Under Cuomo's rules, they wouldn't let him leave the elderly care home or whatever it was that they called it that he was in. They wouldn't let him leave. And until Chris Farrar went, oh, yeah, well, watch this, and went above another court, went to a court that went above that court, and finally got a judge going like, you can't keep this man's father there. And they finally went and got his father. And remember, his dad was so badly dehydrated, they couldn't rehydrate him in time. He ultimately died. He was 96. So what a terrible situation that they're in. There is something, though, that you need to hear. So play this one, Maggie. Play digital media file number 8. This is hateful Hackle, Satan's apostle, who's going to spill the beans to Jessica Tarlov and tell her, look, just because I showed up at a rally and smiled and cheered, none of what this lunatic is promising is going to happen, and I'm not going to help him do it. I mean, literally, this is what she tells her. Watch.
We know that Mamdani does want to tax the rich more, bring it up about 2%. He can't do that on his own. You've previously said that you wouldn't be raising taxes. Have you reconsidered that stance?
No, I would say one energetic rally does not get me to change my positions, I assure you. But I do hear people's voices. I process what everybody says, but I'm also have to balance governing this state and making sure that those people who are actually the reason we have a generous, supportive budget that helps lift people up, it's their revenues that we tax. 1.5% of New Yorkers cover about 1/3 of our budget. That's enormous. I'm concerned about out-migration of people who are the ones who are supporting our budget.
Stop the tape. You just pause it. I'm going to come back. She's concerned about out-migration. What does it mean? She's worried that if this wacko becomes mayor of New York, 1/3 of that third she was talking about are going to go, you know what? Screw it. I'm out. I'm leaving. I don't have to live here, and I'm not going to. And they're going to leave. They're going to leave. They're going to move to Florida, Georgia, Louisiana, Mississippi. They're going to go somewhere south of the Mason-Dixon line if they're smart. And they're going to leave Mondani and the people of New York holding a little pinko commie socialist bag. What are you going to do now? Trump's not going to bail you out. Because the money people, you just heard hateful Hackle, Satan's apostle, say the quiet part out loud. 1/3 of all operating revenue the state of New York consumes comes from 1.5% of the people. If I was in that 1.5%, I'd be pissed. I'd be going, you know what? I want to run my own charity and philanthropy, and I'll do that. So give me all my money back. And if they don't do that, that's on them. All right, roll the rest of the tape.
Who are supporting our budget. I cannot make up for that with middle-class tax increases. I cannot do that to the middle class and the struggling New Yorkers. So this is the balance. I mean, this is my position.
She just told Jessica Tarlov that lunatic is not getting a middle-class tax increase. How are you going to fund no-fare buses? That's like $8 billion a year in fares. Where are you going to get the $8 billion to fund? Folks, the whole thing is crashing. It's crashing. Now, I'm trying to figure out what Hateful Hockle, Satan's Apostle's play is here. She is obviously more of a shrewd politician than I thought she was, but here is where I believe Hateful Hockle, Satan's Apostle is looking at. She's looking at her old buddy, Andrew Cuomo, becoming mayor of New York. Don't forget, when Cuomo finally resigned amid the Me Too sex scandal or whatever, when he finally quit, he went, all right, fine, you're going to get me, you're going to okay, fine, I'll resign. She was lieutenant governor. She became governor because he quit. How did she become lieutenant governor? He asked her to run. So what you're seeing here now is this is Kate Hockle going like, hey, Andrew, hey, bro, yeah, I went to that lunatics rally because I want to keep the socialists happy and the left wing of this party off of my ass. I went to that rally and I said those things, but look, I'm not going to help him with his agenda, and people need to know that I'm not going to help him. So let's be friends again. That was an olive branch sent to the Cuomo campaign and to Andrew Cuomo, basically saying that you better beat him, because the reality is that none of what he's promising is going to happen financially. That's how politics is played. At least she did it publicly. I'll give her credit. At least she did it publicly. So keep the young commies happy and screw the rest of them. It's actually quite a disaster that they have brewing there. So now you're going to have, again, I'm going to predict that, what is next Tuesday, right? It's coming up. No, it's this Tuesday. It's 3 days. It's 4 days, 5 days from now, right? It's the first Tuesday in November, so it's going to be this coming Tuesday. The people in New York are going to go to the polls, and here's what's going to happen. And by the way, just again, you have a good candidate and a decent man for mayor. You have Curtis Sliwa.
It's November 4th.
Apparently, New Yorkers don't want a decent man as mayor again, like His Honor Giuliani. Tuesday, they're going to go to the polls. Curtis Sliwa is going to bag 16 to 18%, maybe 20, higher watermark. Andrew Cuomo is going to get 38 to 40. Might surprise you by election day. And Mondani is going to get the rest. And it's not going to be 50% plus one. There's going to be a runoff. And Andrew Cuomo is going to trounce the communist in the runoff. Because the people in New York are going to have, they're going to be, same thing we had in 1991 with David Duke and Edwin Edwards. And I'm going to tell you how it's going to turn out. The negatives on Mondani keep piling up. Cuomo's already noticed. There's nothing you could possibly say about Andrew Cuomo that people don't know already. So,
for the last time. I'm pretty sure what's killing the crops is this Brondo stuff.
The Brondo's got what plants crave. It's got electrolytes.
So wait a minute. What you're saying is that you want us to put water on the crops.
Yes.
Water. Like out the toilet?
Well, I mean, it doesn't have to be out of the toilet, but yeah, that's the idea.
But Brondo's got what plants crave.
It's got electrolytes.
Okay, look, the plants aren't growing, so I'm pretty sure that the Brondo's not working. Now, I'm no botanist, but I do know that if you put water on plants, they grow.
Oh, well, I've never seen no plants grow out of no toilet.
Hey, that's good. You sure you ain't the smartest guy in the world?
Yeah.
Okay, look, you want to solve this problem. I want to get my pardon, so why don't we just try it, okay? And not worry about what plants crave.
Brondo's got what plants crave.
Yeah, it's got electrolytes.
What are electrolytes? Do you even know?
It's what they use to make Brondo.
Yeah, but why do they use them to make Brondo?
Because Brondo's got electrolytes.
Coming up on year number 10, more of what you bought. Your Founders Pass membership for a tough sell these days, I must tell you. The Mike Church Show is on the Crusade channel. Did you all go yesterday and get your 10th anniversary t-shirts and red cap button-down work shirts? Place that order today. Shop.mikechurch.com. It's on the homepage now. You can find it easily. It is a free phone Friday. You know what that means.
Oh, and remember, Friday is Hawaiian Shirt Day. So, you know, if you want to, go ahead and wear a Hawaiian shirt and jeans.
It's Rephone. It's Rephone.
Yes, it is a free phone. Friday, yay! Day you are charged with the task of telling us what it is we shall talk about on the program. The telephone number to take me up with this kind, benevolent, beneficent offer use of these radio airwaves. Here on All Hallows Eve. 844-527-8723, 844-5-CRUSADE. Get your 10th anniversary. They're beautiful. The design is stunning. And it incorporates every show that was live here on the Crusade channel in the last 10 years as we celebrate year number 10. Coming up now at next Tuesday. It's November the 11th. It'll be an all-day, then all week, and all month, and an all-year celebration of year number 10. here on the Crusade channel, and we made a commemorative, beautiful T-shirt that you're gonna love. Get you one for the one shirt for every family member. Size is small through 3X, fat bastard, and it has the left print, left chest imprint, and then the big 10th anniversary with all the shows that have graced the airwaves of the Crusade channel. Many, many great shows and great enterprises and great broadcasts have been on this channel over that time. And almost all of them are on the shirt. There's some small part of the shirt. And when you check it out and you look at the blow up. So get one today. Reserve yours today. I need to get these orders in. Can you do it today? Especially the red cap shirt, because they got to be ordered far in advance. And they're way more expensive than a T-shirt, and I don't like just having them laying around because people don't buy them. So if you want one, please go and order yours and your T-shirts today at shop.mikechurch.com. It's on the homepage now. You can't miss it. It's right there on the homepage at shop.mikechurch.com. And thank you very much in advance. There's a piece out at, this is at crisismagazine.com, The Forgotten Feast of All Hallows Eve. Ours is the only culture in history that mocks the devil while pretending he doesn't exist. Every Halloween, we flirt with the infernal, pretending it's all make-believe until something evil happens, and then we stand astonished that the line between play and peril has worn so thin. Halloween is, strangely enough, the one night when modern secular man admits he believes in something beyond himself. Only he chooses to believe the wrong thing. Having lost his saints, he now settles for skeletons. That's a pretty accurate description. I can tell you, in blousing around this neighborhood here that I live in, that's not as overblown as it was a couple of years ago. So there are, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, but you haven't been in the Oaks.
I think 6 or 7. No, I haven't been in the Oaks.
The Oaks is where it's bad.
Okay, 6 or 7 in this neighborhood. There's 94 homes on the 3 streets in this little part of the development. So there's 6 that have over-the-top Halloween stuff. In previous years, we had 12 and 15. And a guy down the street who only has like 3 things out this year, dude did like $10,000 on his lawn. And it's all macabre. Macabre. One guy on the other street has aliens. Like, what is it with that? Why do you have an alien? In any event, I just thought we're going to talk more about it as the final hour unfolds, and we'll talk more about All Hallows Eve and the great feast days that are coming up. Tomorrow is the Feast of All Saints Day. It's one of my favorite festivals of the year. Everyone should celebrate tomorrow. Not with a hangover, but as the most glorious feast day and a celebration of your confirmation and your patron saint or any saint that you have a devotion to or you've ever prayed to. You know, there are a lot of people that aren't Catholics, but they are very familiar with churches, and some of them have churches that are named after saints. And if you have a church that you go to that's named after St. Timothy or whatever, say a prayer. Ask St. Timothy for his intercession. Tomorrow is his feast day. It's the Feast of All Saints. And then Sunday is the Feast of All Souls. And again, during the 8 days, the octave of all saints, as we call it, visit a cemetery. Pray for your dead, for the repose of the souls of your dead, and for those in the cemetery. It's a serious grace that you get. Really, it's profound. And most people don't ever take advantage of that. So we'll talk more about that as the hour unfolds here. Meanwhile, let's do this. Free Farm Friday.
Green Acres is the place to be.
I have no idea.
Is the life for me.
spreading out so far and wide. Keep Manhattan, just give me that countryside.
New York is where I'd rather stay. I get allergic smelling hay. I just adore a penthouse view. Darling, I love you, but give me Park Avenue.
All right, everybody.
The chores.
The stores.
Fresh air.
Times Square.
You are my wife.
Goodbye, city life.
Green acres, we are there.
All right, Free Farm Friday. All episodes of Free Farm Friday posted free of charge at crusadechannel.com. That's crusadechannel.com. Look for the Free Farm Friday tab under the shows, and you will find it. This is year number 5, Free Farm Friday, and now we're in the fall. Obviously, if there is such a thing as a fall growing season. What's the 2 fingers for?
I'm crossing my fingers.
Oh! Well, we planted our lettuce a little bit late this year, but it is a kind of it favors a winter kind of crop, so we can hope that the lettuce will bear fruit. Okay, we tested the phone line before we came on, but we didn't test both phone lines, and we didn't actually put anyone in the queue, and I don't even know if they can hear us. Because we switched, we're now broadcasting through the console that I have nicknamed Wing and a Prayer. So we're going to hope that Wing and a Prayer works. And if it does, when I say Happy Free Farm Friday to you, Mitter Monday, he's going to come back and say,
I'm going to say I think you took the console and chipped its chip.
Chipped its chip.
I think the console, you chipped my chip. No, the console did not chip a chip. The console installer chipped a chip.
Okay. He's up.
Okay, he can't hear me.
Well, I heard you there. Or Brian. Are you talking to Brian?
No.
No, I wasn't. I was talking to you.
Okay. No, I got you, sir. I got you.
Oh, okay. It was a 48-second delay.
Oh, wow. Well,
Dude, it's a little early to play Dead. You play Dead tonight.
No, that's I'm dead all the time. No, when I first spoke to you, I was getting a triple reverb, but that's going away.
Yeah, I don't hear anymore. Well, don't celebrate just yet. Don't pull a Harvey Keitel from Pulp Fiction just yet. Brian K., are you there?
Yes.
Oh, glory! Hallelujah! It worked. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well. I thought you were going to call me Brian Kelly at first.
Oh, dude! Let it go. Let it go.
Hey,
you had your fun.
Oh, it was lots of fun. 49 to 25 was lots of fun.
Yeah, I know. He's talking about the LSU A&M game. Well, I should actually. I told Mike Parent I should on Monday. I said I should be thanking you. Actually, helped us get. We've been trying to get rid of Brian Kelly for 2 years, and Texas A&M comes in and bammo, it's done.
Well, y'all took Woodward from A&M too. That was very thankful.
Now wait a minute. Not only did we do that, but we and that's what Governor Landry was talking about. This guy, he was saying, he goes, this guy cost A&M $75 million. Now he's cost us $53 million. Who the hell is that guy's not hiring the next coach? I will tell you this though, you also have another LSU connection because you got stuck with Jimbo Fisher for a couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not for LSU. There is no Jimbo Fisher. So in any event, Brian was involved in a conference call the other day that is, I believe, a sign of the times, benchmarking soil health in Texas. And the reason why this is, I think, is a big deal is because the call was initiated by someone representing Walmart. And Walmart, Brian, apparently has now taken seriously regenerative farming and an interest in American soils. Our very own Brian Kay was on the call. He's one of 3 panelists. So you represented the Southeastern Soil District in Texas. So tell everyone, tell us about the meeting. What happened? What is Walmart? Are they really interested? And just fill us in.
Yeah. Okay. So this was actually initiated by the Soil Health Institute, which is they're located in North Carolina, but they're I think they do work worldwide. And so what they do is they just promote soil health to farmers and ranchers around the world, and they do all this stuff. Well, they get funding as well. I believe they're a 501c3, and they get different sources of funding. Well, Walmart, and I think there's a few other sponsors too, they have this what's called the Regenerative Cotton Fund. And so, if you know Texas in the South, we grow a lot of cotton, and so this funding went in to kind of get some baseline data on just conditions across the 3 major cotton growing areas in Texas, which is you have the High Plains, Lubbock, and to kind of the Lubbock area and to the south, and then you have the Blackland Prairies, which comes out, Dallas, Fort Worth, and it goes all the way down to San Antonio, kind of runs south of I-35 along that corridor. And then you have the Gulf Coast Prairies, which is where I'm at. But those are the major cotton producing areas in the state. Plus, they produce the majority of the corn and grain sorghum and other row crops, and even wheat and other things. So basically, they're getting this data, and I guess 2020, 2021 is when they started collecting it. And so they were comparing just conventional practices to more conservation practices that help soil health, reduce erosion, whatever we're trying to do to, conserve the resource. And so since I cover pretty much that area, I do cover some of the Blackland Prairie as well, but I do have a direct connection to ag producers that are, farming. And they just wanted, what I'm observing, on the ground, plus what I'm observing, what I'm hearing, and when I'm talking to these producers, the feedback I'm getting, and that was the genesis of it. And they were involved a lot down in Matagorda County, which is the county just to the south of me.
Right.
And we've been, I guess, 2022 was the first year we did some workshops focused on soil health. Well, we've had 2 or 3 other ones since then, and me and one of my coworkers have kind of been the driving force behind that, and helping that district identify the producers in the county doing it, doing the stuff, and then promoting it and trying to get other producers to latch on and start the practices and stuff, and that's where it came from. But yeah, it's I'll put the link to the webinar. It's on YouTube, and I'll put the link for everybody if they're interested in watching it. But I think it's going back to the Walmart and the other sponsors, they're recognizing, hey, we can benefit from this, but it also helps us sustain, these farmers as well, and not just sustain, but it helps them build soils so they're there in the long run. And
I was just getting ready to say, Brian, exactly that Walmart has taken an interest in its customers and in its customers that are farmers because they have a stake in the future. And I could be cynical and say it's a cynical ploy, just a money-making ploy. But I think we should take the win.
Yeah, for sure. And I think anytime we have this, because at the whole end of it, and one of the producers we had at this last event a couple of weeks ago, he's farming a good amount of acreage, and he's practicing it across all acreage. And he I mean, from his savings just for himself, I mean, we're talking, $500,000 in savings.
Wow.
And diesel, fertilizer, all that stuff that, really, if we're in even chemical use, and that's the stuff we're trying to reduce, because overall, if we're producing, and without that, we're going to be healthier.
Yeah, let me bring Mitter Money in here quickly, Brian. Dan, this is kind of like Walmart being like the southern version of the Rodeo Institute. And they called a meeting together, and they reached out to the farmers. And again, that's a really good thing. You want corporate America, as big of a behemoth as Walmart is, you want them recognizing that, hey, it's the little guy that shops at your store and farms at your store.
Yeah, well, it's actually kind of interesting you brought this up, because I see some of these articles, and Brian's intimately involved in it. But I've mentioned a couple times when we've got together about how in my company, upper people are going to regenerative, seminars put on by various people, so now they all think they're experts in it. However, this past week we had our weekly information meeting with our CEO, and he said that right now there is a very, very large battle going on between Amazon and Walmart as to who is actually going to be the food distributor for the country.
Ooh.
So, and I know, we make dog food, but we're still a consumer products group. So, whether it's dish soap or steaks or dog food, those are the categories. But it's kind of interesting, and he made I should send some of it to you, but that. And makes me wonder if is this part of it, and it's not a bad thing that they're trying to go about it in the right way.
I don't have
a good thing to do.
Dan, you and I are old school trad cons, paleo cons. We're not afraid of competition. You want them to compete.
No.
Now, but we want them to have the education that, no, there's another way to do it, and you can do it without all the chemicals. Brian, can you hang on for another couple of minutes? Because I'd love to get a little bit more out of you, but I have to take this break. It's only 3 minutes.
I didn't hear him.
Is Brian still there?
Yes.
Can you hang on?
Oh, yeah.
All right, hold the phone. All right, we'll be right back, folks. Don't go away.
of the Biden regime. The Mike Church Show lives by the creed, if at first you don't succeed, try again. And if that doesn't work, move to Grenada.
Why you had to hide away for so long? Where did we go wrong? Mr. Blue Sky, please tell us why you had to hide away for so long. Where did we go wrong?
All right, everybody wanted to hear Mr. Blue Sky. It's a Friday kind of tradition, so who am I to say no? In exchange for that, you will now all go and make a donation at crusadechannel.com/donate, because we've been shut out today.
0.0.
Then you're going to go to shop.mikechurch.com and you're going to reserve your 10th anniversary Crusade Channel 10th anniversary t-shirt and red cap shirt. So the big holiday or Halloween weekend, today's All Hallows Eve, which is the vigil of All Saints Day. And tomorrow is, of course, All Saints Day. Sunday is All Souls Day. Big days on the calendar. And that means that Advent's right around the corner. So November is here, so Advent's right around the corner. Which means then that Christmas is right around the corner as well. Crusader Stadium chat room open at crusadechannel.com/chat. This is a Free Farm Friday episode. Mitter Monday and Brian Koch are with us, our master farmers, and Brian is doubling this week as a soil. Well, that's what he does for the state of Texas. But he appeared on a webinar with a representative of Walmart, and they were talking about soil health. So there's 3 districts in Texas, if you want to know about this: Southern High Plains, Northern Blackland Prairies, and Gulf Coast Prairies. Now, Brian, is that just because cotton grows really well there?
Yes, yeah, it's due to the climate and the soils and stuff. But I mean, if you look across, basically south of Interstate 40, cotton, that's just good cotton growing climate, and then you have the soils to match it, and that's why Alabama and Mississippi, even parts of Louisiana, are really good for cotton. So yeah, it's a combination of things, because it is, if it gets below freezing, it dies. So so even you plant, well, down here we plant it late March, early April, and it's they're harvesting in August, and then you get up like in the Lubbock area and north, out of our zone, they plant a little later because it can't take the cold. But when it's ready to harvest, usually a freeze or hard frost will kill it, and you can harvest it. So that's how it works. But cotton is like okra; it's in the same family, so it's very similar in how it acts and everything. So that's part of it, and it's a drought tolerant plant too, so it can take, you have out in the deserts, you have the Pima cotton, which is a little different deal, but they grow it in Arizona and New Mexico, and then here we have the more it can take a little more rain type, but cotton's grown around the world as well, so it's more the arid, semi-arid areas where they can irrigate it, and the times between irrigation it can benefit, because the dry climates and stuff help with it.
Now, this is, let me bring Mitter Monday back in here. Mitter Monday, I don't know if you got a chance to watch the video, but part of what Brian was one of 3 panelists with the guy from Walmart, who is like the reach out guy for people that grow cotton, for the cotton pickers and cotton growers. The Soil Health Institute, the first slide that they put up for all you Free Farm Friday regenerative farming nerds, look at the 4 points. Minimize disturbance, maximize living roots, maximize soil cover, maximize biodiversity. It's pretty much what Brian has been preaching here. He has one more. There's 5 of his steps. But these are the steps to regeneration. And just the idea that you were talking about, the competition twixt Walmart and Amazon for food. I just saw a television commercial for an outfit called Redland Farms, and it was for the cotton that they grow. I don't know if they grow it in Texas. But there is something that is happening out there, and Free Farm Friday principles of regeneration. I think that it's moved beyond the boutique of just us kind of like experimenting with it and trying to see what we can do with it, to bigger farmers, larger farmers who actually do this stuff for a living, going like, you know what, it's the way my great-grandfather did it. Maybe there was something to it.
Well, that does seem that I'm sorry. That does seem to be the it's a delicate balance. I remember when Nolans got flooded, and they asked Giuliani to go down there and straighten it out, and he said no, because you think about how you have to bring everything up. Now I watch people and they all talk a good game, and they try to understand, and I watch them pour high fructose corn syrup in their coffee.
Right.
And I call them out on it, and I ask them why. We're just talking about this. Well, I like this. So, it's got to go. So this is really very good. You think about it, because it's got to come up on the other end, too, if you know what I'm trying to say. You got to balance both sides of the boat, or it isn't going to work. You got to have people who are pushing it, explaining it, and offering it in order to get more and more of the people. But, if you're going to offer it, they got to have people who are going to buy it. So, I mean, this is really, really good. And if it comes out of a Walmart and an Amazon, God forbid, take the win.
Well, in every Walmart, and they kind of have a policy. It's the same policy that some of the other big retailers have, and that is in any DMA or any AMD area or ADM, area dominant influence, ADI, good grief. That's how you measure it in television and radio markets. Walmart and other retailers, Brian, they have a reach out program where they are required to seek out and carry local brands that are made by local people. Now, I don't know that they always are good at doing it, but I know that they're supposed to do it. So I wonder if a brand like Redland Farms cotton, even though it is a bit expensive because it's made in the USA, I wonder if they get a foothold in Walmart.
You would think they would try, but I think, and if you listen to the guy from Walmart, his in the webinar, he was just talking about how they're just really trying to focus on, stuff produced with these principles. And if your local guys are doing it, there's a good chance that it's making it in there. Now, I don't know how they differentiate with where it's coming from, because you take cotton to the cotton gin and it's coming from all these fields. Now they put the farmer's name on it, but usually when it runs to the gin, they're just doing it all at once, and then it's all kind of coming together. So like I said, I don't know how they differentiate unless they have specialized places where they take it and get it from, and they know it's where it's sourced. But, it's kind of like grain. If you go into a co-op, everybody's growing it, 3 different ways, 4 different ways. And, how are we differentiating with that? So it's kind of hard to pinpoint that. But I think their goal is to blanket the information so more farmers do it, so that you have a better chance of getting something produced, with using that.
I think that's a great takeaway, that Walmart's basically saying, look, we encourage our farmers to do the BK five things to soil. Now, what was the fifth one that they left out? Because there's only 4 on this chart.
Integrate livestock.
Oh, okay, that's right. Right.
And actually,
did you bring that up?
Yeah, and we talked about that, and I think you can kind of couple that with the biodiversity as well, because you're bringing animals into the system. But I think a lot of people have just adopted that fifth principle just to make sure that, hey, we need this above ground livestock. But also, there's a sixth one. It's your context. What are you managing for? And I think, and I've had a lot of opportunities to try to bring this message to large landowners that aren't agriculture producers, like school districts, city parks, other things, in some of the work I'm doing with some of the Houston area stuff, where it's like you can apply these principles by mowing different, not using as much chemical and everything. You can build that soil. Because in Houston, their thing is drainage and not flooding, and then with the twofold is for us is not only drainage and water quantity, but we're focused on water quality as well. So that's why that sixth principle is important, because there's a lot of soil out there that's not in agriculture production, but it still rains on it just the same. And the more runoff you have, well, that's less. It affects the health of the bay. It affects the health of the rivers and the flow and everything else. So that's where we try to get that in. Now, so I'm an equal opportunity soil health promoter. It's like, hey, the burden shouldn't always fall on agriculture, because they've got plenty to deal with. Once they understand that what they're doing not only helps them in the pocketbook, they're signing the back of the check instead of the front of the check. That's where they really take hold and drive to it. And I am seeing a shift in a lot of places where more farmers are adopting these principles. And just cutting down on the tillage and cutting down on the trips across the field. I mean, that in itself is huge, because, the less...
Remember the first episode of Free Farm Friday, what did you tell me? Mike, have you seen the satellite images of farms where there has been tillage?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, have you seen that? But also look at the CO2 let off, when you plow the ground. And, I'm going to say we have a carbon issue. The problem isn't too many emitters. The problem is we're not cycling it properly. That and once we pick in healthy soils is key to cycling carbon. And because it's an essential nutrient.
No, I want everyone to be able to get in on this. I want to get you back to your All Hallows Eve, but there's one more point that I want to cover with both of you quickly, because I saw this and I was there. So I went to Park City, Utah, right outside of Salt Lake, and I got to spend a week there. And I was glad that I spent a week there, because I got to know the terrain, got to talk to some locals. Suzanne Sherman gave me a tour. Her place is ends right outside of Park City, and it's in one of these areas here. And there's some things that I didn't know. And now that I know them, and I saw a story the other day where they're going to start seeding the clouds outside of Salt Lake because they need rain desperately every year. And this is, if you go there, then you will understand. Park City is where the 2002 Winter Olympics were. The average humidity there is 12-15%. When it does snow, and it's known as it's a ski resort town, when it does snow, you can't make snowballs out of that snow because the snow is so dry. It's just a fluffy snow, it won't stick together. Why is that? Okay, so they get what's called lake effect snow. Where's the lake? It's the Great Salt Lake, but they also built a reservoir not too far that is almost the size of the Great Salt Lake. Where do they get the water from? The snow. And the melting of the snow and then the runoff. Here's where is the problem, just like a lot of places in the West, Brian. And again, first episode or two of Free Farm Friday, 5 years ago, BK, you talked about this, Middle Monday. I'm sure you remember it as well. The once Great Plains of the United States were the home, it was literally, the song got it right, where the deer and the antelope play and the buffalo roam. We removed the livestock. When you removed the livestock, you changed the grazing habits. The poop stopped hitting the ground. The grass stopped turning green. The grass stopped absorbing moisture. Where do you get precipitation from? Do you get it from evaporation? You want to have good, healthy soil. It holds more water, so when it does rain, you have this healthy cycle here. The reason the Great Salt Lake and Nevada and all those areas, I believe, are starving for water and the Colorado River just can't feed it is because they killed the ecosystem of the bison and the deer and the antelope. And the only way it's coming back is to repatriate and reform those lands. Brian, you say what?
I mean, it's exactly that. You fix the soil, you're going to fix the water cycle. And there's a guy in Mexico in the Chihuahuan Desert who gets 8 inches of rain a year, and he's growing grass taller than his horses that he's moving his cattle with.
Wow.
And he's done that through regenerative grazing, and he's fixed the cycles in that. And he's got pictures of thunderstorms. You know, you look at a thunderstorm at a distance and you see the thunderhead and all that stuff, and it's raining on his side of the fence. He's managing 30,000 acres, by the way.
Wow.
It's raining on his side of the fence, and on the desert side, that looks like nothing, it's not raining.
That's amazing.
You fix it, you fix the water. So.
Okay, and that's the point I wanted to get at. Middle Monday, you don't have that problem in New Jersey. You have too much rain.
Not lately. I mean, yesterday we got about 3 inches, but we hadn't had anything for a month. So the cycle here is not doing that well either. Certainly not like down there, but we're not doing well.
Well, and I think that it's a great thing, Brian and Dan, that the corporation, the Walmart Corporation, is actually acknowledging, man, there's a problem out there with America's farmlands, and there are people that are talking about ways to naturally fix it. It's going to make healthier customers. They're going to maybe they shop more at Walmart, or maybe you're just being a good corporate citizen at that point. In any event, Brian, I was very, very encouraged, and I told you this privately, very, very encouraged and very excited that our 5-year-long little journey here on Free Farm Friday and your life, your career, your 25-year-long journey seems to really be finally starting to pay some dividends. And that's just, I'm happy about it. It's a good thing.
Yeah, it's exciting to see, because there's so many things that we're trying to get right, and making those connections and stuff, and breaking a lot of the old mindsets and stuff is really good to see, because more and more people are getting it, and and that's what it takes. You just got to stay with it, and block up the negative noise, and remember what we also used to say: get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
With being uncomfortable, and you also have
conversations can be uncomfortable.
And you also now have, and I think it's a good thing that it happened. I'm glad it's out in the open, because Trump's not stupid. He's getting an earful from America's ranchers. Now I think he made a bad call. He doesn't want to admit it because he's Trump, but he's not the type to continue in an error once it's been pointed out, because he's not a loser. So he's getting an earful from lots of cattle ranchers that are writing him letters going like, Mr. President, we love you, but you're wrong. Please listen to us. We can tell you how to fix the beef price problem. Can't be fixed overnight, but there are some steps that you can take. And of course, we can quibble with Brooke Rollins' suggestions. Maybe one or two of them were kind of in the program, but at least he has to acknowledge the local mid-sized cattle rancher. And that guy is probably turning back to regeneration, and he knows what the score is. So, final comment, Brian.
Oh, I just, I think if you're practicing it, stay with it. And if you're not, learn how to do it. And, I think, a lot of y'all know how to get a hold of me, and you can, I'll answer your questions. I mean, I'm practicing. I've been practicing almost 10 years, and I'm seeing the results, and I'm seeing other people do it, having results in less time. And, it's all about, really taking care of each other and teaching people these things. And, like I said, I think, like I said, just stay with it and don't give up.
Don't give in to despair. Hey, brother, blessed All Hallows Eve to you, Suzanne and the kid, and of course a wonderful and glorious Feast of All Saints tomorrow. God bless you, man. We'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good. God bless y'all. Y'all take care.
Okay, and Mitter Monday, I didn't want to leave you hanging there. You know all about the cycle as well, and no one's been in the fight longer than you with your own land and your own property. And there's fits and starts. It goes forward a little bit, then they go like, oh, yeah, you don't want to do that. But there has been progress made, and we've started to see, actually be able to see it over the last, I think since COVID. I think COVID turned a lot of people around.
That's a fair point in history that you can put a flag in. I would agree. I mean, it's, again, as much as you sit there and we make noise about these big giants, they're the ones that are going to do some of the moving. Because I mean, Brian's seeing it on that level, and I'm looking at some of these other things I'm involved with, like the the Water Environmental Federation, and they're just so far off base. So if those people can get pushed by the Walmarts. All we got to do now is get Bill Gates. He already said climate change is really not that big a deal. Now he's got to stop making fake meat and let him get on a regenerative bandwagon and throw some money at it.
An amazing thing that Bill Gates finally had to confront the fact, dude, you're going to go down in history as one of the biggest fools ever because you married that environmentalist wacko movement. And I don't know what's more disturbing. Did he actually believe it?
One will never know. I mean, I'm not a big Jim Carrey fan, but I'd love a liar. I'd love to be able to look at these people and make them actually tell the truth when I stare at them.
I can't lie.
Oh, can't you see you do that to Nancy Pelosi and Schumer? Then even Mr. Trump, Trump, just stared at him and, okay, you got to tell me the truth.
You're going to tell me the truth. All right, Mitter Monday, thank you very much. God bless. Same wishes to you.
Yep.
See you soon, brother.
Yeah. Next week I will not be here. I will be down one of your old stomping grounds. I will be in Colonial Williamsburg in an educational programming studying the history and role of the tavern in the American Revolution.
Oh, fantastic. Well, I look forward to a full report. There will be a quiz.
Oh, there definitely, and it'll include victuals and libations.
All right. Thank you very much, Mitter Monday. Always good to hear from you. The phone lines on Winging a Prayer worked. Now, I was talking about the All Hallows Eve just a moment ago, and the Forgotten Feast of All Hallows Eve. None of this happens in a vacuum, writes Anthony DeStefano. Over the past year, places of worship have become scenes of unthinkable carnage. At Annunciation Catholic Church in Minneapolis, you all know the drill, and of course Charlie Kirk, we're witnessing not merely moral confusion, but a violent hostility toward faith itself. In a culture that laughs at evil, it should surprise no one when evil has the last laugh. We are witnessing not merely moral confusion, and then he has a link to that. Can the two phenomena, the way we celebrate Halloween and the open antagonism toward faith, be connected? It would be naive to say that horror movies or Halloween costumes cause mass shootings. However, it would be equally naive to pretend that a society that delights in mocking evil isn't slowly being desensitized to the real thing. I think that's a profound point. How do you tell the difference between the evil that you put on, or the representation of evil that you put on your lawn in the form of specters and ghouls and goblins and monsters and whatnot, and the demons that can manifest themselves physically, or to at least to the imagination and to the eyes of people in those same phantasms, if you will? Which one is real and which one isn't? You know, there's a fascination with killing in this country. And it seems like we have too much of it. It also seems as though we have not enough talk and not enough public displays of the counter of that. You know, I told the story of Father Bozant and the Feast of Christ the King procession this past Sunday at the National Shrine of St. Alphonsus Liguori in Baltimore, Maryland. People are still talking about this on the internet. Here's what I think distinguishes that story from any other. And it distinguishes that story from so-called Catholic podcasters and influencers and all that. Father Bozant is an actual priest. He actually took vows. He actually committed his life, and he has an actual apostolate, not a fake one that comes out of people's smartphones. He actually prayed to an actual saint and asked for an actual miracle, which said Saint Therese actually provided. Now, it ought to follow then that so many people are so shocked by this. Either that or like, whatever, much enough, so what, the mayor cracked. Mayor didn't crack. The mayor was compelled into going along with it or into making it happen, because ultimately at the end of the day, at literally the 11th hour, it happened. And if you don't know the story, what day did I read that? Was it Tuesday's show? I think it was Tuesday's show. Get the second hour of Tuesday's show, because I read the entire story and from Father Bozant's letter. No, why do I bring that up as Halloween here? If you can wrap your brain around that was a miracle, that means it was wrought by the grace delivered, was asked for, through St. Therese, or from our Lord and from Our Lady, who we also prayed to. There are opposites to the saints. They're called demons. Well, then understand that if the men of Baltimore and Maryland could have been, the government could have been, influenced to do what was the right thing by God, well, there certainly are demons in our world that can also influence the exact same kind of men to do the wrong. And they do it all the time. And I'd say if we were keeping score or had the ability to keep score, you'd see more of the bad going on than you ever would the good. And I gave a talk at the St. Benedict Center a couple of years ago, do you believe in miracles? And I said, literally. And remember, I told the story of the saints that have flown. It wasn't just St. John Cupertino. He's the most famous one, but there are dozens of saints that flew, levitated. So it's All Hallows Eve. So consider that in the grand scheme of thing. And then, as I say in today's video cast, act accordingly. All right, let's go. I wanted to throw that in. Let's go to the Dude Maker hotline here. Magdalene Rose, our political affairs contributor. Today is Halloween, All Hallows Eve. Congress is not in Mordor. There is not going to be a vote today. There won't be one tomorrow. There won't be one Sunday. They will return supposedly on Monday. We don't know when there's going to be another vote. The food stamps and the SNAP program is out of cash. Happens tomorrow. The Democrat Party is responsible for this. And I think that their campaign to try to make it seem as though they're not I think it by and large is a complete and total failure. Did you expect that Speaker Johnson would actually go along with this long enough that a Republican Congress and a Republican president are actually going to go through the SNAP program? This is a sacred cow. of the government and the Democrat Party of the United States. They would actually go through with it and watch it get gored?
I did, because Speaker Johnson does what Donald Trump tells him. As long as it's legal, he just does. He doesn't refute him. He understands sort of the hierarchy of the Republican Party. So I think for Speaker Johnson, I'm not surprised by his actions. What I am surprised about is that congressional Republicans are holding the line. Like, they're not breaking with him. They're not divulging. There are a few that seem tired. That's fine. But in general, Republicans are sticking together, and that always surprises me.
It's I'm just unfamiliar with it. I asked you the other day, would Paul Ryan have held a line? No. Boehner? No way. Tom DeLay? No, that deal would have been cut 3 weeks ago. So it is there, as I said, with Bill Walsh and the West Coast offense changing the way professional football was played. Trump, in his 10th year now, since he came down the escalator, has changed the way politics in the United States is played.
Well, he has, and I think he also has a speaker that's willing to do the right thing. Paul Ryan, in many ways, was very difficult because he would pretend like he was doing what Trump wanted, and then he'd stab him in the back. And he would make it seem like, oh, I'm just doing everything I need to, and then he would not follow through. So Johnson being able to stay where he is and not give, it's a good thing. And then in addition, I've never seen Democrats this disorganized in the media awareness campaign. If you think back to how they've dealt with Obamacare and other things, they have absolutely no explanation of why they're behaving the way they do for the general public.
By the way, and I thought that, as much as Johnson speaking right now, as a matter of fact. Let's just eavesdrop in on this real quick.
That was Senator Coons in 2013. And what is he saying now? Earlier this week, he said, quote, frankly, this is our only moment of leverage. Quite a switch. Bernie Sanders has got a lot of airtime here lately, and back in 2018, Senator Bernie Sanders said this, quote, the truth is that shutting down the government is a serious and dangerous action that we must do everything possible to prevent. That was in 2018. You know what he said this month? Quote, if we reopen the government, we lose our leverage. Senator Sheldon Whitehouse in 2013. The shutdown was, quote, entirely unnecessary and has harmed our economy and our reputation in the world. But if we also can't forget, we must never again allow extremist hostage-taking to create this kind of disruption. That was 2013. Just days ago, the senator from Rhode Island said the opposite. It's the only lever we have, meaning the shutdown. What he means is that the pain of the American people is their political lever. I guess he's forgotten his cries of alarm over the extremist hostage-taking. And how about the House? And infamously now, we all know, the Democrat whip, Catherine Clark, the second highest ranking Democrat in the House, said, quote, just last year, she said, they are taking a non-issue, a false flag, and saying this is the reason we can't proceed. It is a dangerous precedent to be threatening a shutdown. That's what she said in 2024. And what'd she say about a week ago? The opposite, quote, of course there will be families that are going to suffer here, but it's one of the few leverage times we have. Many House members have echoed the same.
Now, Magdalene, you can hear what's going to happen here. You know what's going to happen when the midterms come up. You're going to have television commercials that are going to be made about using the word leverage. That such and such during the government shutdown, which put 20 million people, 41 million people without food. Such and such said, and this is the only leverage that we have as a party. I keep saying this. These people are beyond stupid. I mean, I always knew that they were stupid, but they're making stupid people look wise. These are just unforced errors that are being made by people that, quite frankly, I don't think they could actually run or navigate the white striped crosswalk outside of an elementary school and get children safely from one side of the street to the other.
Well, no, and if you look at Democrat leadership, Bernie Sanders has really emerged lately as a major force, not only with Zohran Mamdani in New York, but in general. So he's becoming the de facto Democrat leader, which honestly is the most sane thing that makes sense, because that's where he was headed when they took the nomination away from him in 2016. That moment in 2016 where they swapped him out for Hillary Clinton, they've been on borrowed time since then. The people of the party decided they wanted Democratic Socialists. They took him away. They swapped in other people from the sort of like Beltway politics. He now has dominance, as is his sort of protege in AOC and Mamdani. That's who they are. Speaker Johnson knows that, and he's not giving on it.
And then we had the specter of hateful Hochul, Satan's apostle, saying yesterday in an interview with Jessica Tarloff, he can't raise taxes on the middle class. I won't let him. And the people that pay 1/3 of the state budget, the top 1.5%, are taxed out already. You can't tax them anymore. They'll leave. So this is Hateful Kate basically telling Andrew Cuomo, hey, man, I'm still out here. I'm still on your side. And then telling him the people, Mamdani can't do what he's telling you he's going to do because he's not going to be able to raise the money. Did you hear this?
I did, and I think, I spoke to my guest in an interview about this week. Andrew Cuomo has for a long time, apparently in the Democrat Party, unbeknownst to many of us, been a hard voice of reason on keeping extremist candidates out. I didn't know that within the New York Democrat Party, but that's what's been going on. So when Mamdani began this process, apparently Cuomo tried to get other people to run. He tried to get finance guys, big congressional names, just to participate. They wouldn't do it. He sort of viewed this as a rule-out race for himself because he had to do something.
So then, it's Cuomo to the rescue here. And I know you said the other day you've been like addicted to and fascinated by grabbing Andrew Cuomo interviews and listening to them. Yeah. I'm not so sure that's good for your health. But I said this earlier. If you think back in New York politics, how did Hateful Kate become governor of New York?
He stepped down. He had to resign. She was the lieutenant.
Right. How did she become lieutenant governor? He asked her to run. They were partners in crime. This is not an unfamiliar person. She's not dealing with an unfamiliar quantity. She knows him. He knows her. What I took away from the Tarloff interview was like, look, okay, I showed up at the guy's rally. I cheered. I smiled. I said, we're going to get him and this and that and the other. I haven't changed my position on policy. So, well, then she's what? Just trying to keep the live action role playing communist and Sharia law lunatics happy? Is that why she? Because it sounds like to me that's why she did it.
I think there's a part of that. I think she recognizes that that's where the party is moving energy-wise, and she wants to participate in that. I mean, the other side of this is also that Democrats created this monster. When you court extremists and you allow them into your party and you let them tell you what to do, are you then surprised when they don't want your intermediary leaders and they want their own people? This is happening in Minneapolis as well in the mayoral race there. There's a Democrat named Jacob Frey who is sort of like, it's just one of those annoying woke boys constantly there. And now there's a Somalian man running, and he's an extremist, and he is going to take that race. Mm-hmm. And the Somalians are going to elect him because they very reasonably said, why would we elect somebody who's like a white guy to represent us when we have the numbers? They finally have the numbers in these extremist groups. That's what's happening.
Well, in those isolated geographies they do. This is interesting, speaking of lunatics. Maggie, can you play digital media file number 9? Jon Stewart with Kamala Harris. Anyone that thinks, it ought to terrify people that this woman could possibly have been in control of anything other than a nail parlor. And I think she would have failed at that. Because the nail parlor babes would have hated her. Oh, no, we're not going to work today. We are hair camera. She not nice. She got wrong nail, but she not nice.
I do believe one of the biggest factors that was at play in the 107 days, we just didn't have enough time. We didn't have enough time.
Or was it too much time? I mean, if you had done the election after 60 days, I think you win. Honestly. There seemed like a stagnation point. And then...
Are you smoking crack?
Lines, it doesn't look like. Well, what would have changed?
Well,
yeah.
But there's so many variables that went into the outcome of that race because you can also look at where you start to see an infusion of resources going into mis and disinformation. I talk about, for example, the Elon Musk factor in the book. You can look at that there were certain inflection points that had an impact on the race. And to your point, it was, as David Plouffe said, it was those traditional inflection points, and there were others. So I don't want to reduce what we need to do going forward to any one factor around what we could have done better, what I could have done better in those 107 days, what was happening before. I think there are a multitude of factors that all need to be addressed, including, again, in particular, the prevalence of mis and disinformation and our need to do better around data collection and analysis.
So Elon screwed everything up. Jon Stewart said, "Oh, if you would have had more than 60 days." She just said she had 107 days. I think that these people they live in a world that the rest of us just don't live in. You weren't close. You're never going to get any closer, Kakala Kamala. Everything that you accused President Trump of has not come true. The exact opposite has come true. And the worst part for you, Jon Stewart, and for Kamala Harris, the longer Donald John Trump hangs around, and the more he goes on 10-country Asian and European or Asian and Arabian tours, and racks up deals to profit the people of the United States. You guys are freaking toast. You already missed the boat. I said this and I'll say it again. You should be trying to out-MAGA this guy. Your only shot now is they literally, the only shot that they have is what you just heard. You got to lie to yourself, and then you got to go scorched earth. You have to convince enough people that it's so bad that they have to jettison what they currently have, which would be the Republican Party and Trump and MAGA, which, don't forget, you also had 34 governors and 31 legislatures you got to get rid of, too. It just doesn't look good for these people. And it seems to me, who are they? Who are those two talking to? Who are they trying to get? Who are they trying to win to their side?
Well, that's an interesting question because they're not trying to win anybody. I understand why he said that thing about there being too much time because the campaign created about 2 weeks at the very beginning through social media and through just buying up airtime. The feeling that she had momentum. She didn't have momentum, but there was a feeling, like a fleeting feeling that it was there. So I understand the question. The truth with Kamala Harris is that she inherited a team from Joe Biden who also hated her. And this is not like to praise Kamala Harris, because as a candidate, if you inherit a team of people that hate you, you have to replace them. You have no choice. So she allowed herself to be covered in people who didn't really want her to be president. Was she doomed from the beginning? Yes. Did they spend ridiculously on nonsense? Yes. But she also is a terrible people manager. And this is sort of the unspoken thing, because they tried to make her like, remember Mamala, because she's a mother and all that nonsense. They tried to make her into this like ridiculous figure that was warm. It reminds me of Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. Yep. But the undercurrent of that was that she had no actual people for her. If you think of Obama, you can think of Axelrod. You think of the Bushes, you think of Roe. Trump is people in the Breitbart orbit. But if you think of Kamala Harris, who exactly was her chief strategist?
I don't know. Who?
There wasn't anyone. There was no one. Like, that person doesn't exist. She was hiring ad agencies to try to craft her political strategy. And then she sits there and tells us that she could have won. There's no universe in which Kamala Harris could have won that race. She was hiring people from Procter & Gamble to craft her policy for Iowa.
So it's even worse than that, Magdalene Rose. She was hiring DEI people from Procter & Gamble. Wasn't like she went and got the CEO or the most brightest and best and accomplished. She hired the broad that changed the logo for Cracker Barrel.
She did, and you know that Biden actually did hire the CEOs when he was running in 2020. So even back then, we see the difference that Biden knew how to hire, or the people around him deputized knew how to hire the top talent. Kamala Harris is an invented person. She has no real backing. She's never really won anything. She's been a DEI hire for years. to put her up as the top of the ticket, I firmly believe was revenge on Biden's part towards Nancy Pelosi for pushing him out of the race so that Gavin Newsom, Nancy Pelosi's nephew, would not get the nomination.
And then you have the Maggie. Finally, I just want to do your last cut, your last digital media file, number 10, Chamath Palihapitiya, who goes on with the Babadook with Buttigieg, and Buttigieg goes, "Yeah, you probably hate Trump. It's probably miserable, and you're probably terrified for your life under President Trump." This particular Muslim has a surprise for the Babadook for little homo Petey.
The worse it feels to be in this country, the better off Donald Trump is, whether he's running for president or whether he is president. And sending troops marching into the streets.
Can I just say, as the only immigrant right now on this podcast who immigrated here legally, I feel much safer and better under a Donald Trump presidency than I ever did under a Biden presidency. Just want you to hear it from my mouth for what that's worth.
Do you feel safer about the fact that a Latino doctor crossing the street in Washington, D.C. Is getting hassled or harassed because they're brown?
I don't think that I've heard that. Now,
okay, so you're not aware of any case in which a U.S. citizen who is
no,
like you're
me no, but I will tell you, for example, after 9/11.
Wait, you're on a podcast commenting about immigration. Surely you have some level of awareness.
Let me tell you. After 9/11, for example, for years,
he has awareness. He just doesn't agree with you.
And I was pulled over constantly, and people probably thought that I was a Muslim hijacker. Mm-hmm. So I know what it feels like to be harassed. And what I'm telling you categorically is I feel safer in this presidency than I have ever felt. And I'm just letting you know that. It's just my lived experience.
There's a campaign ad for somebody. And Buttigieg said, wait. Now you came on here to... No. The lived experience. We talk about this all the time. In practical terms, real average American people, including Latinos, including immigrants from any from any race, are going to pretty much say the same thing. Because all the leftards have is these isolated cases, most of which are made up. I want to give you an example. This witch, this Jennifer Welch witch, this woman, lowest level of hell, bench carved out, name scrawled on it with Satan's own forefinger, Jennifer Welch, if she doesn't stop what she's doing. This witch, talking about Riley Gaines, 12-time All-American, blonde, blue-eyed, mother now, wife, loved by people that she works with. You know, who wouldn't want to have a... Magdalene, the optic for this is, you're into gymnastics, who wouldn't want to have a daughter like Riley Gaines? I would want to have a daughter like... I love my daughter. I'm very happy with him. But I would be proud and honored to have a daughter like Riley Gaines. This woman goes on and does a 1 minute and 20-second temper tantrum about how Riley Gaines and all of us supposed right-wing wackos like watching videos of children being zip-tied. Magdalene Rose, there's only one problem with that. No one ever videoed any children being zip-tied. The video, unless it's in a Democrat snuff film, the video doesn't exist. The only person that ever saw a children being zip-tied was the crack whore mother that lived in the high-rise project in Chicago, who watched about 30 illegal alien gangbangers being let out, and yeah, there was a couple of kids that were in those apartments. So it never happened. And yet in their sick, twisted, feeble minds, this is what we're doing. We're sitting around. This is what they think about us. We actually sit around, the defenders of human life and of children with the larger families who are going to actually save the United States because we actually procreate. We sit around and we watch videos of children being zip-tied and being tortured and mutilated. What the? Yeah, that happened, and it's happening.
Yeah, well, it is. And Jennifer Welch, I mean, it's interesting because she has been horrible in the entertainment industry for years. I've seen her clips where she talks about celebrity romances, and she says, particularly her and her podcast partner, I don't know if they're still partners in this, but they would do a series about how much they really hate happy mothers and how much they hate when they see like women out there talking about how great their kids are, especially when they're young kids, and how it sickens them. So that's some context for who this person is. That's why she's famous and has all these bookings now. So that is where women in the Democrat Party really are, especially women over 40. That's their ethos. They hate Republican women because some of us might just be happy. But I think for Democrats, they've dealt with this before. They had Chelsea Handler in the early 2000s. They had Kathy Griffin. But they need a new generation. I saw a tweet that said Jennifer Welch's endorsement will matter more than most Democrat politicians. That's true. Who she endorses in the Democrat primary and who she campaigns for, they may not win, but women will flock to that person.
Well, those kind of women. And now you had the factor of the suburban mom who doesn't want her daughter raped or killed on a train. The suburban mom that doesn't want her son accused of doing things he didn't do and can't get a job and is stuck in her basement and won't ever leave. So are those kind of women out there? Yeah, they're always out there. They will be out there. Are they? They weren't enough to lift Kakala, heels up Harris over the finish line. They weren't enough to lift Hillary over the finish line. It's only gotten worse for them. So endorse away, Jennifer. And then there's the final factor here. Last night they had basically Halloween for the kids around 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. So there's video after video after video out there. Donald and Melania standing at the front of the White House. He in his usual Trump costume. She's in her, she's always beautiful and smiling and what have you. And there's video after video of the kids coming up. Some of them dressed like the Trumps. Some of them dressed like other things. Going up to the door. And unlike previous presidents, there's Trump representing. Now, you people out there, you can mock this and make fun of it all you want. But this is an optic that is just simply beautiful. It's stunning. And it works, Magdalene. There's President Trump standing next to his beautiful wife in front of the very recognizable White House, greeting those smiling, happy children, putting candy in their baskets. This is not a photo op. This is genuine. They really are enjoying doing this. And he has a red USA baseball cap on. How many tens of millions of dollars in free advertisement for J.D. Vance and the Trump administration did that buy?
Oh, it's endless. And I think what's great about Trump now is that he's kind of post-politics in a way. Like, he's governing, but he's so much the fun grandfather. He's like the guy you go to for wisdom. He golfs with Kai. He knows the names of the children of all of his staffers. Caroline Levitt's son was there. He's dressed as a pumpkin. Like, this is what's happening now within the White House. People were dressed as McDonald's workers, referencing when he worked at McDonald's. So this is like where we're at now. It's a good thing. And for Democrats, honestly, if you're looking at this and you see people having a good time and the little memes, do you have anyone on your bench that at a baseline just comes off as friendly? Like, not even warm. Warm is too high of a bar, but friendly. Because Gavin Newsom, in many ways, is the best they have, and he's creepy on a good day.
Did you see the video of those three guys making fun of Gavin Newsom?
I did.
Oh, it's so gold. It's gold. It's so good with it. Well, I mean, I thought I did a pretty good impersonation. The Wonder Bread, come on, can you feel me, bro? I never left. I never went out back when my mother was yelling at me. Come on, come in, Gavin. And they just lampoon him. He's a joke. It's a joke. I thought one of the cutest or coolest little costumes that I saw in the kids was the one kid that dressed up as a McDonald's as he was working the drive-up window at McDonald's. We said this at the time, Magdalene, you and I, and Mike Parrott said it too. That optic might have won the presidency, actually. That optic of him in that window in the McDonald's outfit, talking to people. Oh, no, your fries are on Trump. It's on Trump. It's on me. What's that? Of course I'll pose for a picture. Sure. What do you want, sweetheart? You're right about the age of grandfather kind of thing that you go to. Grandpa, I'm having such a problem with such and such. What do you think? Well, here's what I think. You probably need to make a deal, okay? You can imagine him in that role. Oh, and Chicken Lady points out, that's right, and he drove the garbage truck in Wisconsin after Biden called all of us garbage, right?
Yeah.
There are these.
It was fantastic.
There are these images, and now you look back and you go like, That was smart. That was actually smart campaigning. It just throws it back in their face, and they don't have. And it is literally driving them crazy. You know, last time I saw Jon Stewart when he testified on Capitol Hill, I actually played a couple of clips, and I said I agree with Jon Stewart. I'm glad to see that. You know, that he cares so much about these wounded war heroes and the other people that can't get help on the suicide hotline. And that he's doing a great thing, as a good American should. I don't recognize that Jon Stewart that was interviewing Kakala. I'm telling you, these people's mental health is deteriorating. And it's getting...
Like the
Go ahead.
level of thriving that's going on, like this man ends wars every single day. His approval ratings are through the roof, and everyone loves him. What are you offering in comparison?
It's a true story. Okay, before you go, Happy, are you taking Benna out for tricks or treats?
We are doing a trunk or treat thing at church.
Ah, okay, good. Did you make a costume?
No, she is Snow White this year.
Oh, you have to send pictures. You must send pictures. We need photographic evidence.
I will send them over.
Okay. And before you go, do you have anything else to add to the Fuentes, Tucker Carlson, the adoption or the removal of the Catholic pieces, to the Daily Wire, what we talked about yesterday? Did anyone else reach out to you to turn me down yesterday, or to dance on our grave?
No, I have a bunch of interview invites out. I have not heard back from any of them. One thing I will say is that I think Ben Shapiro has emerged as the greatest like conglomerate leader within the conservative movement. And if a Catholic billionaire would like to rise up and participate in that would be great, because otherwise I know for a fact people are pitching Catholic shows to Ben Shapiro right now.
Unbelievable. No one's pitching shows to me, but they're pitching them to the Jew Ben Father. Go figure. All right. Well, thank you very much, Magdalene. Have a great weekend. A blessed All Hallows Eve, and a more blessed and glorious All Saints Day tomorrow.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. How do you like that? Well, people are pitching shows to Ben Shapiro now. He can pay him. Why can't we pay him? You know, we are a 501c3. We do have an actual nonprofit. So if there is a billionaire sitting there going, you know what, I think I'd like to give. I won't do Catholic broadcasting, but I won't do it. I will do Catholics who broadcast. I don't speak for the church, and I'm not going to. And I'm not going to let anybody here do it. Brother doesn't pretend to. Brother gives his opinion. But he's religious, though. And his words are very well researched, and I think he delivers a very useful podcast. If you graded all of them against the other ones, we're up to 470 some odd episodes. Where's the army of support for actually Catholic doctrine on Reconquest? All this hand wringing that there's no Catholic in media, and there's lots of words listening to it. That's just not true. So pray with us, and if you have an idea, send it along to help the Crusade channel. We're in year number 10. Maybe in year number 11, that's the year that we crack the code. How do we reach those people? How do we get people to throw money at us the way they're throwing them at the Ben Father, I might ask? Can I get a T-shirt purchase? How about $5 of a donation at crusadechannel.com/donate? You literally have Christian and Catholic people of America literally taking just gobs of money out of their wallets and throwing it at the Daily Wire. I think people should think about that are Founders Past members. What's wrong with you? Why are you here? And I don't say that flippantly, and I'm not trying to get you to leave. Why are you here? And why does it seem like it's an impossible task to find someone that's like you? To plunk $5 down for a Founders Pass membership and start listening to the Crusade Channel, the Mike Church Show, and all the other great stuff. Maybe then people go like, hey, maybe I want to do Mike, are you hiring? No, but we'll take you as an intern and teach you. So in any event, we do have a 501c3. You can donate as much as you want, and it is tax deductible. And I'll send you the letter. Somebody actually asked me for one the other day. They said, I want to make a contribution. Can you send me the letter of determination? That's what it's called. And I sent it to her. So it's out there. In any event, thanks for being with us. Winging a Prayer, I think, performed admirably today. Look, we now have the equipment here. Equipment's not an issue here. Equipment and software and the format and all that. We have a couple of $1 million in goodwill and in formats and artwork and in podcast accounts and the knowledge and the wherewithal. We can do that. We could be that network. It's all here. It's already built. It's already set up. Will you help us get there? Simple request. CrusadeChannel.com/donate. You can send me a piece of hate mail. Here's where you're going wrong. I'd rather you send a piece of love mail going like, I think that I can assist you. I propose that you do this, and I'll undertake it for you. It's real easy to throw darts. Very difficult to propose and then execute solutions. Maybe that will come this weekend. If it doesn't, we're going to have a glorious All Saints Day tomorrow. And LSU has a bye, so they can't lose. So that's already an All Saints Day victory. My email address, I am KingDude@protonmail.com. You can find me hiding in plain sight on Twitter, The KingDude. On Facebook, search for Mike Church, you'll find me. Send me a message, join the club. Go to the podcast site on Apple. And Mike Church Show Preview is posted every single day on our Apple podcast, on Amazon, on Spotify, everywhere. People went maybe click the like button or the star button or whatever. They can all contribute. And it's all organic and natural, too. We're not buying bots. There's somebody in the chat room who was saying we need to buy bots. I don't want to buy bots. No, I'd rather win hearts. I'd rather win friends than influence people. So if you have a suggestion, I'd love to hear it. Don't forget to reserve your Crusade Channel 10th Anniversary t-shirt. Get it today. Can you do that? If you want one, and I hope you want a couple, get it today. Shop.mikechurch.com. It is on the homepage. All right, have a safe and blessed All Hallows Eve, and I do mean safe. If news breaks out today, we will break in. Till then, have a great, wonderful, glorious feast of All Saints. Saint Augustine, intercede for me. To live, sleep, eat, and breathe, the city of God over the city of man. That's my daily request of my patron saint. What's yours? And confirmation saint. See you Monday. God bless you. Mary keep you.